Chairman Hino, roll call for the Budget and Finance Committee of the Navo Nation Council. Regular meeting, October 4th, 2022. Honorable Chairman Hino.
Good morning, I'm present.
Thank you. Honorable Hino is present. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
Shanella, I'm present. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanella. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. is present. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Honorable Elmer P. Begay.
I'm on the line. Here.
Thank you. Chanel. Honorable Elmer P. Begay is present. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Crotty.
Shandeen Yate, this is Delegate Amber Kenneth-Crotty. I'm on the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadeja. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Crotty is present. Honorable Nathaniel Brown.
Yeah, it's too. Delegate Brown is on the line.
Thank you, Shache. Honorable Nathaniel Brown is present. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Chairman, we have 5 members present upon roll call and 1 member not entering roll call. Chairman?
Thank you. 5 present. We do have a quorum. Calls meeting, Budget and Finance Committee meeting, regular meeting to order. It is 10 a.m. on October 4th, 2022. Thank you for the roll call and Shananta Budget and Finance Committee. Kadoy Yaba Hele, Dipini Tlonigi Ado Citizenship. Nasobe. Kadoy Nada Huitado. Shananta, they'll get Elmer PBG. Ni can't get those speak at the Benibia.
I know the members of the Budget and Finance Committee. Yet it's been a hit this show. I thought I just want to share this with you. I shouldn't actually, but I know things that you probably already noticed it or being aware of it. October, the month of October, I don't think I think the house is and we know that I don't eat the so it's about almost a week. I did that I don't eat that large la so we all know that the air is getting to be cold around that non-settle, you know, that I don't get that this young either darkness although I don't really resolve really having they could the husband out of a task of the husband of a tradition the husband the betrayal I think it was just today DJ now it's a big it told us in than this last week the sun the big thing yeah Ntakis not you had already a not evening Ntakis no contact with the people for the circle this is yet when you get to not even know this stubborn case of this I don't know how needed you only give not to go tackle the issues over but not case of this best on the middle case in the middle which only I do either hard هجو ده دي ده لو هجو ده دي كا عشان دي ايه ادات اكشن هو بيجي عند ده I want to share it with you هو انا ني تخاكو هذا كي هو الشيكو عشان ده البنات ده هو وده جمله ده من ده نادو نو سان عند ايه ده هو ده نتخا يدك اللي كده بقى صلا بقى صلا كوكا ايه no some kage ko akide ko nilchi dini ko asilla enche benani tlengi no ka digin dinna ni tlengi epe hini nabdi yakhta de kun ko in hanno la ko nilchi digin aslon konde three initially called it they called a Yasli, the Yana Litchi, the initial Adi Kong E. A called E. Nado, as in the call E. By now, around the Edig, Alcon Yan Secretary, Adi, initially called it. I don't call it Adi, if I don't let it. Yet, Hegi, Brandy, Hegi, Yet, Hegi, Bernardi, Tassido, Bernani, Tassi, Behajo. Ben Hitler, who just let a Hanani lead the non hit get on the city. Ben Nidi, the Hito, we could have seen the icon. Yes, the whole art door, I'd be in kind of it need of the Jade in Tarkus, within the police need of the that he you Adia in Baby Nani Candido, the Shikonda, Alukonda, some art, tools that has changed to be yards, was that for the Jim Locom. Costless artist is long for Ben, he can only don't the conde, and his now not lost of Honda. Either about he can the commodore what other things of not the Talido, because they call the indeed, though I don't and then he don't list of a Hojok and non task for the city at other econ, what other call is be non candido, this other non set, then that next Sanido. Other coordinates, that it only Yahido, it a nest other company, the Nadi Tassido, Yat in the place, dot and the place, either by non hit zero, the Hido, non is open, his non cattle, the Higo, other such a econ, undolvin, dosing and decom. Naharabi, Washington, nada, either this, nada in either even sound that is mixed out on the charge now to just alien. Yes, non clinical is other CAD on the no stopping Nadi just okay, not the yes of the Ashin Daya Econ in his year. In the Nigi, the non candidates is in the is not leader this not anything in not to other combat sitting in non clinical is any legal Kodoya Hong Raj Yah at the Hita, because Nani Kato is in the Nigicon are not the Git, although Econ Hay, the Libby that the Kandid disco, yet it Econ in the Genarch, Lidon Hanacho, but so this begin the net limit or around the Econ, Nani Tas, Dino, this other compare as a Satnadi. As a Bernardi Miss Home Bernardi the yards in the best economy, the living Mizuno Chidi is other Benic and he does not enter yet or what other is Hanadi Kiss that they call it in non-Dodish, although she had dot com. Passing circuit area no star be that all car is all hasn't so that they compare for yard the 100 idol. Either by a compared another asleep the 100 there. A compared not on the at another high sister. Either she had or this that they con the hygiene of but what is none or that they come other come may home. She large non down to come budget finance, make it no yard. The net best on the Nikon, the person in the Gido, it needs about William in the Gido art. And then of Pahanadi in the contest, and then on is and long and hard I see. Either music the heart of but what it you like you in that is a content in the future. Iya icon in Hana Hunson Dodis, music economy started to do this. The never know it artist do this yet on hands and art case. Na Hansana case so this subject how they accommodate is don't not needed to this could not visit on non this quite the nest don't quite it's reason completely kind the art and set the content is at home. So not inco so yeah not inco a song which is called the service. It's not the show the other one that is home there a home a person candidate she come the next class A and the next class A Julia that we call a count up as a count that we call be alone that is the region benigni leaderless ibebnani khandili ko ito ya nat ko ata halon lego na holislolis ayat iya ko heti dolis benigni dolis abi ko hati ti benigni kon sabale hotel abi ko trouver kon heti hojana sli dolis hojana sli kya tele
Hier national kdo. Jinon khatsadin zanigi kdo ba ke hedle ko. Ada da ya kdo ke. Khonana khatani ke. Ashini hotan jinai khabay in la ko. Jone ada nase benache ya kdo. Shnanta Budget and Finance Committee. DA ya atatahatil zin. Introductions of guests and visiting officials for Kagi. So Shkishin Khahadal Jishkoda as committee members. The Vice Chair Smith reels about in Shahda. Vice Chair Smith.
Ja, they've been a lot of some daigi chair hanyo ya they've been ado da sta citizen behind the hela behele ado na hastendo visionie range bi kai they ya na hastling fiscal year 2023 that the nigi sure you have Vice Chair Raymond Smith Shanido Budget and Finance Committee ajishna nishinsto Nenshnigi the president of the Chini Bushes Chin when the Lari to Shadow, not Kaida Shanana. It says on my toe and at the Kintido, say toward a to the Shah. Nandish Bishmas un skittled me, a without a Bedatish thing, the Hela, and that.
Shikana Shanta, Vice Chair Smith. Nada Nasa da could I do see Shanta Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Jimmy Yellowhair, I don't know this in that.
Yes, Sille. Chairman, doesn't die quick Budget Finance Committee. Honorable Henny Sille out on this. The Sui Wash Chairman, Honorable Raymond Smith. And that Arthur Clearness J. Elmer PBK. The Daniel Brown, the Amber Clarish Mayas, and what 8 only. Jimmy O'Hare, she had to Jim Marina. Did the partners the little on Argo, Jim Bagade, so and that was the force lake. Like about hot sun pinion was studied top up well. Aren't that'll don't hard right now, slap on us. Because it wasn't finance committee, but it got a national council. And the Bakan would all call me to Otaria. And then Slinia the Bohan and Sliat was in was chain, a change shade at the Scott thought as another. We had 8 on General thought Daisy. Thank you still on the gate. Thank you for a good prayer. And you know, for the and don't gain that. Gain that kin. Jill Bagadi yon that kin. In 8 Ashiko, not a halt, so since not at all. Once and I hate this issue, is not angry. Others had auto because the not able to is like here, Washington, Kodoi, Peso, in Nashi, the Space House on the 24th Council, a Kodo 23rd. Fiscal year budget kodo DRSA could be arbe nada agency the hunt to go no canani to kai table. Yeah, one thing to tell sustainably. Thank you. That to you, Stella. Mr. Henio.
Shikana Shanta Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair could the Nasa da Shanta Delegate Amber Kineswa Karate.
Yeah, please, yes. So, Kat Shania for your prayer, and as we, reflect on this changing time, as not only our seasons are changing, but looking forward to this fall and then eventually winter weather for renewal. Shea Oni Nesledo, Belagana, Viking people, Basis Chin, Destiny, Deshedo, Belagana, Irish people, Deshanella, Amber Canis Bacardi, Initiative Toll Hutsoy, Dan Natshaw. I represent Sheep Springs, Two Gray Hills, Tolina, Sanasi, Red Valley, Cove, Gadiahi, and the Clabato on the council. Budget and Finance, I represent Northern Agency, and I'm the chair of the Sexual Assault Prevention Subcommittee. I just wanted to make sure, Chair, as we discuss the possibility of our community members being disconnected from NTUA, that this committee look at all of the facts and that we make recommendations to to Navajo Nation Enterprise on disconnecting individuals when the weather's changing, and what does that mean for their medical health conditions and how they're trying to recover from COVID. We received the report that NHA is going to revert over $70 million because of the September 30th deadline. And there's other Navajo Nation programs that received utility assistance, like the ARPA LIHEAP from the Division of Social Services. And so we need to make them all be coordinating together with NHA, NTUA, and others to help our people, to help them get the federal funding that's available for them. And Chair, I'd just like your support and recommendation on that as we move forward with today's agenda. Yeah, thank you.
Kudo for your introduction. Kudo requesting for support and the issues that are before us here as the Navajo Nation 24th Navajo Nation Council regarding our Navajo Nation citizens. So I make that notation. Let's move forward to Shananda Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Shananda Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Okay, move forward to Shananda Delegate Elmer P.
Chair Henio, other members of the Budget and Finance Committee, other people that are on the line, Shady, Nash, as a couple Hansno, Toli Chinny, Bashi, Natin, the City, Class, National. Other the Banashagi, a torch in the door, 18, too hardly. Other back about okay, the door, other the wish be taught. I said Dow County still in the World White Congress with I think the other day easy Banashaho. Yet any different honest once for the Chernia.
Shikela, Shanada, they'll get Elmer PBK, Colony 2000 CD. Although Naso the Shahalji Shinsha, could Jamie Hino Shizer. What's in there, Nasha? The Hashlishin Snow to the Chini versus Chin. Toki Gleanage Cheda, that Tobas additionally that echo. Other Tochido Toji later this so. Died Nakeda at any other. But had the Shah for the 24th Navajo Nation Council. Chair by Budget and Finance Committee. My head could I can the tinny dish. No, yeah, go ahead. It's not the hustling one job. So, Johnny, didn't actually get the Chile go could but another date neto. Aber nach could ni kana chihigi a legislative assistance. Our reporter, Miss Ramona Nelson, she bought the shot.
Yes, good morning, Chairman Hino and the Budget and Finance Committee members and everyone that is on the call listening in on the meeting today. Shay Ramona Nelson dash Janito not net chin shlohanaga bashes chin just let need dash chashin dash nala with I sunshine auto budget and finance a card in the short. Yeah.
Here now, Miss Nelson. Other Miss Peggy Nakai is out this day, so we do have a Miss Lauren Spencer, I believe, is helping us today. Miss Spencer.
Oh, yeah, Jay Bennett, members of the Budget Finance Committee, and those are on the call. Jay, the Benny Jay, I'll be helping Peggy Nakai. Aro, Janajanin Shino, Rikoja Bashin, Anahi Dashinagado, Kiani Dashi, but I Sananch, the hat.
Thank you for your introductions. Ado, Bishmas Anisha, the East Sankado, 24th Navajo Nation Council.
Members of the Budget Finance Committee, this is Odo. So, ja, ich bin Ado und ich kann hier kommen. Schlodo, ich do jump is an she so nach Kate noch da. Nach keine Inchne. And I just cut behind by machine. Look at Neda Chedo, Tina Ginny, that she know I mentioned do. Honest is a day, but basement has unslung though. One's out at a whole dish. Or additional get on the addition and alcohol. Is not so yet. It's been good morning. Go on, milk, guys. Thank you.
She here last check. They'll get Odo Sokado. Nichi thousand zini. Ado Shanana, Bishmas Anik, Navajo Nation Council.
Delegate Daniel So.
Shandache. Delegate Daniel So, Chairman.
Oh, yeah, it's a tree. Chairman Hino. Auto Facility Vice Chair Raymond Smith. Auto Senantai. Chicago to the man. Is an aquagi. Atota inil sango. Atilva Winsenigi a Sato. At the Nil a Sato inil sango lake. Excuse me. Hey, Tender Cannon Stone, and I still cut me. What's this tree? Do Especially this a chedo na hapani das anala. I don't lay not nail zine do you see. This the conduct kadeya. It partners middle business has anege aya. Gana snares, such as beat ho not nail zine. Skis and lena kilko but ho. Are the torch and the setra pork or the Kinsa guy without a just Shannon is not it. So that's what you see base behind that you see be the nature to this thing I see I do hold just not long Zoom or teleconference. You see but I need to see clean kunde. Yat Hidini Dolly to a share like quaggy citizen be how to Gito me. Okay. Wahol Gigi Gito a branch to Ika or she had on Nissa been nature when I'm not Yagi dog and that's it. Nitra yada hot eto nitra on Hassan stop Hashin so stop Bahajos Baigi in I see the whole in the court. Yeah, quite Mahada Hos Agi chair Jamie Hino So he can have seat or little, and he can tell us thing to little. I should have.
Chairman Daniel Sokol in 2000 Although I did hear Delegate Nathaniel Brown on the line. Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Okay, we'll move forward to 24th Navajo Council. Bishman Sana.
Chairman Daniel.
Oh, Chairman Yazi.
Hey, Chairman and Budget and Finance Committee members, staff, Yate Bennett. This is Edmund Yazi calling from Coolidge, New Mexico. So I'm on call. My clans are Toheglini Shledo Torichain Ibashichin, Senajini Dashiche Ashin Dashinala. So I'm on the phone, Chair, members, listeners.
Thank you for being on the call. We'll move forward to 24th Nomination Council. Bishman Anish Another Isa for the record.
Good morning, Chairman. Chairman Henio, this is Delegate Helona.
Shananda, you have the floor.
Oh, on the floor. Good morning, DNF committee members and Chairman and Vice Chairman Smith. Good morning. And this is Pernell Helona, Delegate Pernell Helona from District 14, Coahachie, Nash City, Twin Lakes, Mexican Springs, and Coyote Canyon. And I'd just like to say good morning to everybody, and thank you for having me on, and thank you for that wonderful prayer. Thank you, Chairman.
Delegate Pernell Helona. The Hila Stonana Bishmas Anna. Let's move forward to recognizing our staff. We do have Office of Legislative Counsel, Ms. Tapahi on the line.
Yes, Mr. Chair, good morning, and committee members.
Thank you, Ms. Tapahi, for being on the line. Nomination Department of Justice.
Morning, this is Rudy Naya with the Tax and Finance Unit, Department of Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Anaya, for being on the line with us this morning. Then we'll go to the Office of the President, Vice President.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. This is Leonard Sosi with OPVP. Thank you.
Thank you, Anashant, for being on the call with us this morning. Are there any other representatives from the Office of the President, Vice President? We'll move forward to nomination, the Judicial Branch, Office of Madam Chief Justice Joanne Jane. Okay, with this, let's move forward to the Office of the Speaker, Seth Damon, Legislative Branch, staff or representative.
Yate Bennett, Chair and committee members. This is Donovan. Good morning.
Good morning, Donovan. Thank you for being on the call with us. Any other representatives from the Legislative Branch? Okay, we'll move forward to the Office of the Nomination Office of the Controller. Madam Controller Elizabeth Begay, staff.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Robert Willie, Accounting Manager from the Office of the Controller.
Thank you, Mr. Willie. Thank you for calling in this morning.
Chair, this is Emerson Horace, Accounting Supervisor.
Good morning, Mr. Horace. Thank you for being on the call. Let's move forward to the Office of Management and Budget. Dominic Bial.
Hey, this is Cordell with Contracts and Grants. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Shorty. Thank you for being on the call with us. And then we'll move forward to Any division program managers?
Good morning. This is Dr. Gray Eyes with DPS on the line.
Good morning, Dr. Gray Eyes. Thank you for calling in.
Mr. Chair, this is Mark Graham, Executive Director of Navo Tax Commission. I'm on the line.
Good morning, Mr. Graham. Thank you for being on the call.
Good morning, Shanat. This is Pearl Yellowman, DCD. We're on the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yellowman, you and your staff. Thank you for being on the call with us. Okay, we'll move forward to the Nomination Chapter Government, Shah. Representatives, Shanada, chapter officials.
Good morning, everybody. Lisa Marie Bird here from Upper Fruitland Chapter. Lisa Marie Bird, Yanishia, Torchini, Bashashipit, Ani Nishla, my Dishkis Deshache and Tapaha Dashanella. Thank you all, honorable committee members, for having our chapter's audit report read, and just want to say thank you and good morning to everybody.
Okay, Ms. Bird, thank you for being on the call with us and recognizing for the record. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Shaya Doris Smith. I'm from Upper Fruitland Chapter. I'm the Secretary Treasurer. Chair the Budget Committee, and I'll be on call for legislation.
Okay, thank you for being on the call, Ms. Smith.
You're welcome.
Okay, Denny, let's move forward to the reading of the agenda. Ms. Spencer, if you would read the agenda to the record for us, please.
Thank you, Chair Hinyu. Proposed agenda of the Budget Finance Committee of the Nomination Council, October 4th, 2022, regular meeting, 10 a.m. Presiding Jamie Hinyu, Chairperson, Raymond Smith Jr., Vice Chairperson. Through telecommunications, 1, call meeting to order. The roll call, the invocation. Number 2, recognize guests and visiting officials. Number 3, review and adopt the agenda. Number 4, review and adopt the journal. 2 journals, September 6th, 2022 and September 20th, 2022. 5, receive reports. A, overview and update of the Navajo Transitional Energy Company Shandeen Solar Energy Project and Solar Tax Legislation, presented by Steve Yazzie, Intech Director of Power and Energy Generation. B, update on ARPA Hardship Assistance Program, presented by Emerson Horace, the third Accountant Supervisor, Office of the Controller. C, FRF update, presented by Tom Patero, Director, Fiscal Recovery Fund Office. D, recommendations from the Department of Personnel Management regarding directive of July 12, 2022 to respond within 45 days, presented by Thomasita Woody, Director, Department of Personnel Management, Division of Human Resources. Directive, the Department of Personnel Management shall review the requirement and VFAP-12-15 for the controller's position to be a licensed CPA, and to make recommendations to the Budget and Finance Committee as to what amendment is needed to this requirement to facilitate the hiring of permanent controller. Said recommendations shall be provided to the Budget and Finance Committee within 45 days of this directive being issued. E, overview of resolution number CS-49-22, the FY23 comprehensive budget, presented by Robert Woolley, the County Manager, Office of the Controller. 6, old business. Agenda item, September 20th, 22. Main motion held by Amber Knazbot Crowdy, second by Nathaniel Brown. Tabling motion, Amber Knazbot Crowdy, second by Nathaniel Brown. Vote with 3-0 yeas. Amber Knazbot Crowdy, Nathaniel Brown, Elmer P. Begay. tabled to October 4th, 2022 meeting until chapter officials and chapter staff are available. Going to A, legislation under old business A, legislation number 0113-22, sponsored by Rick Nez, council delegate. 7, new business A, legislation number 0159-22, sponsored by Edmund Yazzie and Raymond Smith Jr., council delegates. B, legislation number 0161-22, sponsored by Raymond Smith Jr. and Wilson C. Stewart Jr., council delegates. C, legislation number 0162-22, sponsored by Ottoso, council delegate. D, legislation number 0163-22, sponsored by Ottoso, council delegate. E, legislation number 0178-22, sponsored by Jamie Hinu, council delegate. F, legislation number 0179-22, sponsored by Jamie Hinu, council delegate. 8, close of session, written announcement and adjournment. Next meeting, October 25th, 2022. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you for the reading of the agenda into the record. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as read?
Delegate Brown, motion.
Okay, motion. I did hear Delegate Elmer P.V. Gay motion to accept the agenda as read, and I believe second by Delegate Nathaniel Brown. So we do have a motion second on the floor. Are there any questions, comments on the agenda?
Chairman Henio, this is Delegate Crotty.
Commissioner, do you have the floor on the agenda?
Yes, Chairman, if I could ask for a report to be added. I'm not sure if you're hearing me clearly, but if I could.
Go ahead. We can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. I'm getting a lot of, it might just be my connection. I apologize, committee members, but there's a lot of background noise, and I have no background. So what I wanted to ask, Chairman, is we have a request, if I could make the motion for a report. If I'm in order, would it be from OMB regarding all of the utility relief funds that were allocated to NHA and Department of Social Services and other entities? What federal dollars from CARES or ARPA was provided, and how much of that money is going to be reverted back to the federal government? Thank you, Chair. That's my motion.
Okay, Hannah, I I do hear you on your motion, Shananda, and I was looking through the agenda to see if OMB is on the agenda, but they are not. And so therefore we might get their answer from two sources, maybe from Mr. Tom Platero when he does his report, but certainly recognize your motion to amend the agenda to add a report from Office of Management Budget. I did hear Mr. Cordell Shorty on the line earlier, so you might be able to provide the information. So there's a motion on the floor to amendment number 1, add a report to item 5 from Office of Management Budget regarding the allocations and expenditures of ARPA or CARES Act funds for, I believe, utility payments that were allocated either to NHA or Navo Nation programs. Is there a second to the motion?
Delegate Brown, I'll second.
Delegate Nathaniel Brown will second that motion. Any questions, comments on amendment number 1, Budget and Finance Committee? Then we'll move forward to a roll call vote. Ramona, amendment number 1.
Yes, Chairman Hino, roll call vote on amendment number 1. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy
Delegate
Yellowhair.
Yellowhair, vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth Cardi, how do you vote?
Shandeen, this is Delegate Cardi. I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Amber Kenneth Cardi votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Chairman, we have 5 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, and Chairman not voting. Chairman?
Shake 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Amendment number 1 passes. Also, with this vote, Ms. Spencer, would you reach out to Office of Management and Budget or Mr. Shorty? I see him on the line here, to contact Mr. Biel also to advise them that they are OMB is also on the report for this agenda. Okay, with this, let's move forward back to the main motion. Any further questions, comments on the main motion? We'll move forward to a roll call vote to accept the agenda with 1 amendment, adding the report item from Office of Management and Budget. Ramona, roll call vote.
Yes, Chairman Hino, roll call vote on accepting the agenda. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair. Delegate Yellowhair, votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth Cardi, how do you vote?
Shandeen, this is Delegate Cardi. I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadeja. Honorable Amber Kenneth Cardi votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Chairman, we have 5 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing. Chairman not voting. Chairman?
Okay, 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We have an agenda before us, and therefore we move forward on the agenda here. Next item is receiving the journals. Review and adopt the journals for September 6, 2022 and September 20, 2022. Is there a motion? There a motion to accept the journals?
Motion, Delegate Cardi.
Okay, motion by Shandeen, Delegate Amber Kenneth Cardi. Is there a second?
Second. Delegate Begay.
Shandeen, Delegate Elmer P. Begay, second. We do have a motion and second on the floor. And journals were emailed out to us. Are there any questions, comments on the journals? Let's do a roll call vote to accept the journals. Ramona, roll call vote.
Yes, Chairman Hino, roll call vote on accepting the journals. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair, votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth Cardi, how do you vote?
Got it, Delegate Crotty, and I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadeja. Honorable Amber Kenneth Crotty votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmatives or opposing, chairman not voting, and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
Okay, thank you. 4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We have accepted the journals for September 6, 2022 and September 20, 2022. Moving forward to the next item on our agenda, 5, receiving reports. A, overview and update of Navajo Transitional Energy Company, Shandeen Solar Energy Project and Solar Tax Legislation, presented by Mr. Steve Yazzie, Director for Power and Energy Generations for Intech. Mr. Steve Yazzie, are you on the call?
Yes, Honorable Chair Henio, this is Steve Yazzie.
Kashin, thank you for being on the call, and therefore you have the floor for your presentation.
Thank you. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay.
It's good, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Good morning. Steve Yazzie and Kentlechini Nishle, Ado Tobaha Bashis Chi, Ashinhi Dashache, Do Nakai Dashanella. I am the Intech Director of Power and Energy Generation, based out of the Farmington office. I oversee the Navajo Nation's 7% ownership of the Four Corners Power Plant, as well as support business development projects involving energy and power generation. Ado Hehe, Honorable Budget and Finance Committee Chair, Mr. Henio, Vice Chair Smith, and the Honorable Delegate Committee members present. Thank you for providing this opportunity to update you all on our Shandeen Energy Project and solar tax legislation progress. I will be communicating this presentation from a PDF that was shared to you all prior. Hopefully you can open that up at this point in time. I do have it on the Zoom. I am sharing that presentation on Zoom as well. With your permission, Honorable Chair Henio, Vice Chair Smith, and the Budget and Finance Committee members, we have Kim Flowers, Intech Consultant, with us today on the call in support of this communication effort. And she will be available for questions at the end of the presentation too. If with permission, I would like to have Ms. Flowers introduce herself. Kim?
Mr. Yazzie, you have the floor, so you could call upon whoever you wish to call upon.
Thank you. Ms. Flowers, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Steve. Good morning, Honorable Committee. This is Kim Flowers. I have worked in the electric utility industry now for some 35 years in various positions of executive leadership. I am an independent consultant at this point in time for the last 4 years and have been working with Intech in that capacity, advising them and supporting their project development efforts. So I'm pleased to be here to Yazzie today. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Budget and Finance Committee members, Chair and Vice Chair, before I begin, this update will be providing an overview of the Shandeen Energy Project, a progress report on the solar development, and then finally give an update on the solar tax legislation. So if we can begin on page 2 of the presentation. This page is we want to provide a high-level overview of the Shandeen Energy Project. It has been a while, been almost a year. Late last year, we provided a similar update to this committee on the challenges of solar taxation on some of the projects that we were discussing at that time. So we thought it'd be best to give a quick overview of that. So page 2. So the Shandeen Energy Project really is designed for development up to 400 megawatts of large-scale utility solar facility. This project is on rehabilitated formerly mined lands of the Navajo mine, as well as utilizing the existing transmission line interconnect at the Four Corners switchyard. It also has a flexibility to be combined up to 100 megawatts or 400 megawatt hours of battery storage. Intech at this point has partnered with Photocell US Renewable Energy. They're a company with international experience based out of France. And recently, Photocell US has recently been acquired by an energy company called Engie, E-N-G-I-E. So the project provides, the Shandeen Energy Project really provides a mechanism for Intech and Engie to bid on various solar-related power purchase agreements that have been issued by the regional utilities in our area. It also allows us to pursue direct contractual project agreements with various energy developers as well. This project includes approximately 3,500 acres of land south of Ramp 7. Intech is currently working to ensure that 1,200 acres of that land will be ready for initial construction late next year, early next 2024. Most of this land has been released from jurisdiction of the Federal Office of Surface Mining and Reclamation, otherwise known as OSM-RE. And we are working with OSM to release additional small pockets of land in this jurisdictional area. Intech, as far as leasing this land under the Navajo mine lease, this allows Intech to use this land to produce electrical power, erect and operate power lines, place machinery and other equipment and fixtures upon said lands. So this is really just a brief reset background on the Shandeen Energy Project. Page 3. Page 3 shows a high-level map of the project itself. For reference, the dark area to the top and to the left is the Four Corners Power Plant, which is up north, and that is Morgan Lake. But everything you see in white is under our mine lease property or right-of-ways. The green areas or lime green crosshatch is the planned solar array, while the red shows two different routes for our connection into the Four Corners switchyard. This slide really just trying to give you a visual interpretation of our first phase, 200 megawatts or 1,200 acres of phase 1. Page 4. So an update on the land. Majority of the land, 1,200 acres for the first phase development is as well as early 2024. As repeated, there are small areas that we're still trying to await permanent release by OSM. Regarding that portion of land, all biological, cultural studies, boundary topography surveys have been completed with the Navajo Nation consent from those departments like the Heritage and Bio departments. Geotech drilling studies have been completed as well. For the interconnect on the previous picture that was shown in red, we are currently in the process of completing the biological and cultural studies. The biological is the only remaining item that is still awaiting the Fish and Wildlife consent for that study. All boundary and topo surveys have been completed. And lastly, for that generation interconnect, we are also going to work with the community of Nahazad in the support resolution, as well as grazing permit holder consent, because that right of way that we're proposing, we're actually following an existing 69 kV right of way, and we're going to make it a lot bigger to accommodate the 345K bigger structures. So that additional land expansion will need to go through what the tribe utilizes as a TAA process, tribal authorization access process, which consists of the biological, cultural, and community resolution, support resolution, as well as consent. So we're walking through that process at this time. On the design side, being that Photocell US was acquired by Engie, project roles and responsibilities are transitioning over. At this point, we see no significant impact to our project. The design of the solar plant and generation interconnect GenTie are also in progress as well. Page 5. Just a little background on the market bidding. The Intech and Engie joint venture team has bid this project into seven separate RFP processes issued by regional utilities such as PNM, SRP, DEP, El Paso Electric. So these regional utilities have proposed solar RFPs, and we have bid on those, 7 of those. This project has not been successful in being selected for a power purchase agreement due to pricing. Our last one, which is currently our PNM RFP solar bid, is on hold at the moment as PNM takes into consideration the recent economic supply chain impacts and associated revision of the RFP costs and schedule revaluation. So we are in a holding pattern with that one. So late last year, we gave as a challenge to this, our solar development, we gave a update on the solar tax issue. Regarding the Navajo Nation tax structure, which is a combination of sales, pit, and back taxes, this has created a burden on projects, the project economics, resulting in the challenge to winning a PPA with these utilities. Many of the jurisdictions or states that surround the Navajo Nation offer tax incentives for renewable development. And we see this increasing every year in their areas. Intech, late last year, along with Engie, at that time was Photosol, Navajo Power, and Uniper, presented to the Navajo Nation Resources and Development, as well as this committee, voicing this issue of this tax burden and proposing options to develop a win-win solution for all stakeholders, including the Navajo Nation. So as a result of that, it was recommended that Intech drop legislation for a new solar tax to be implemented. And this would really spur development of renewables on Navajo lands. Page 6. This slide is basically going to give an overview of the four, what we consider the 4 areas of this legislation. Intech and its partners worked together and drafted and proposed a renewables tax legislation, again, to offset the tax burden that when we competitively bid on solar RFPs, we just don't get. This legislation was reviewed with Mr. Mark Graham from the Tax Office Commission about 2 weeks ago. So we're trying to get input from his department so we can understand his concerns as well. A summary of this tax legislation are broken down into 4 areas. The first is to address the construction sales tax, to exempt equipment from the initial sales tax calculation. Many jurisdictions that surround the Navajo Nation exempt the solar tax equipment. So in this case, we want to remove that equipment from being taxed, but you can still be taxed on services as well. And that still is a considerable amount for the Navajo Nation. The second item would be to implement a flat rate tax on all renewables. That would be a starting point of $1,000 per megawatt for installed AC. This would be in place of the ongoing sales tax, the PIT, and back tax calculations. The third one is to allow for anything that is opposed in other jurisdictions, is really a way to offset some of it being dual tax. For the state of Arizona or New Mexico, there's a possibility of getting taxed not only by just the Navajo Nation, but the other states as well. So in this legislation, we have some verbiage in there that we can at least understand and eliminate the dual jurisdiction of taxation or offer a credit for that amount. We know this would be a touchy subject for some, but we would like to work with the Department of Justice and, of course, the delegates here to really convey and educate everybody about that particular line item, about the credit. When everybody says credit, everybody gets a little nervous, especially myself. The last item is really to ensure whatever taxation levels are for a project that they're fixed for its estimated project life. A lot of these projects go out 25 to 30 years, and the upfront negotiation of the financial economics regarding the PPA pricing is set. And for it to be affected by a change in taxation laws would be very problematic in being able to have a very good PPA pricing. So this allows certainty where it's needed. The last slide, slide 7, really is a quick update on our meeting with Mr. Graham from the tax office. We met back on September 21st, and we had a really good, healthy discussion with him. We wanted to provide an update on some of the comments that were made as we try to incorporate this in a revision of the tax legislation. The first one is to include some clarifying language that the Navajo Nation sales, PAT, and BIT taxes, the tax laws would have to be amended to make sure that this does not apply to this new tax legislation. As repeated here, we want to review Arizona and New Mexico state level credit with the Navajo Nation, Department of Justice and Council, and others if needed. It was also suggested with the tax legislation, or as we communicate this tax legislation, that we educate everybody on this subject. This includes delegates, Department of Justice, and anybody else. So we thought, what better way to, as we move this legislation through, but really also highlight the opportunity for renewable development that is available on the Navajo Nation. The Navajo Nation is very rich in land resources, as well as its proximity to higher solar irradiance. That means that it allows more, that we're just very located in a very good region for solar. Also, the associated tax increases from this development opportunity is really, again, an opportunity as the nation is, is trying to offset some of the closures of the fossil plants in or near the Navajo Nation as well. And lastly, again, as mentioned first in the first bullet there, an emphasis on the much cleaner and environmental friendly solar is compared to fossil plants. So as we move this legislation along, we want to highlight, at least the benefits of why this is a good thing. Another area is we want to collaborate. After talking to Mark, thought it was a good idea to collaborate with the tax office in the sponsorship of this legislation as it moves through the cycle there. He also expressed a need to educate others on taxation overall. So next steps, NTEC has identified Honorable Delegate Nathaniel Brown as a sponsor for this legislation. We are in the process of seeking another co-sponsor for this legislation. And then we plan, if everything goes accordingly, we hope to plan to drop this legislation late October, early November timeframe. I know that that's really could present some problems as I know the council has certain obligations and recesses and things that they must adhere to, but we may try to shorten that up to hopefully move this along. And of course, the election is also another factor to consider as well. Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and Budget and Finance Committee members, this ends our report. We are now open for questions at this time.
Thank you for the report, Mr. Yazzie. Is there a motion to accept the report?
Delegate Yellowhair, motion to accept the report from Mr. Yazzie.
Motion by Delegate Jimmy
Delegate
Yellowhair.
Brown
Is there a
will
second?
second.
Second by Delegate Daniel Brown. Is there questions for Mr. Yazzie? Any questions? If not, I'll call for the question to accept the report. Danita. So Ramona, roll call vote to accept the report.
Yes, Chairman Hino, roll call vote on accepting the report. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Knesbot Cardi, how do you vote?
Shada, this is Delegate Cardi. I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadeja. Honorable Amber Knesbot Cardi votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Chairman, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 2 members not voting. Chairman?
Kashinki Hala, thank you for the roll call vote. Thank you, Mr. Yazzie, for your presentation. We'll move forward to the next ARPA hardship assistance. Mr. Horace, Emerson Horace, are you on the call? Mr. Emerson Horace.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman Henio and Budget and Finance Committee members. All right, thank you. Morning, Honorable Chair and Budget and Finance Committee members. My name is Emerson Horace III. I'm the accounting supervisor for the ARPA section within contract accounting. And I also oversee the ARPA Hardship Assistance Program within the Office of the Controller. I'm here to report on the ARPA Hardship Assistance Program. As of October 4th, 2022, the hardship team has processed 73 check runs since February 2022, During the month of September, the hardship team has processed 1,686 checks to eligible Navajo customers. The total spent to date is $559,003,100. That represents 73 check runs since February 2022. The total budget to support the ARPA Hardship Assistance Program is $677 million. The available balance after 73 checks runs is $111,352,900. And that concludes my report, Honorable Chairman Henio.
Chairman Henio, this is Delegate Crotty. Are you on the line?
I'm here, Shanada. I just trying to unmute myself. So with that, is there a motion to accept the report?
This is Delegate Brown, I'll motion.
Motion by Shanada, Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Delegate Crotty is second.
Delegate Amber Knazba Karate second. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. With that, any questions, comments for Mr. Horace?
Chair, this is Delegate Crotty with the question.
Gajishan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Wanted to ask Mr. Horace III, thank you for your report. Could you identify how many customers are still waiting, have submitted their applications, and are waiting for tech approval? If you could remind the committee when is the application deadline, and then what is the recommendation from the Office of the Controller to extend that deadline so eligible Navajo citizens who are in need of the hardship have the time and opportunity to fix their paperwork? Thank you, Chair.
Well, Honorable Karate, Delegate Karate. I have with me my team lead, Mr. Wallace James, who can help us with some of those questions.
Good morning. Yate habine shinata tanolini ado Mr. Chair do Budget and Finance Committee members. Yate Shea Wallace James and Shiedo Sanjikin and Shnido Nakadina Bashes Chain Hanaga Nita Cheda Torich Nita Shinale. Kode Nido Mr. Horace Shido Jeto Shea Team Lead Shnido de Washington that based on the Lodi hardship a large on his staff but not shot by Yashketo. Ko Hiato Hianiki Disney Ado Dasanotagi. Arnable Crowdy's questions. Okay, so the deadline for the ARPA hardship is December 30th, 2022. At this moment right now, we haven't really sat down together with the controller to see if we could have a extension on that date. But right now we are letting applicants know that the deadline is December 30th, 2022. At the moment, Mr. Horace did mention we have over 341,632 checks that have been printed out that have went out to our applicants. Out of that, we have 3,400 that have returned back here to our office and they have been still dated. We are contacting these individuals that have returned checks daily, for them to come by OOC to pick up their checks, or either that we're getting another address where we can resend these checks. We are running into a couple of problems with this, is that the addresses are correct, but the problem is some of these applicants are not putting their names on their PO boxes, and at the post office, they get rejected and it returns back to our offices. And some of these addresses are correct. For some reason, the Postal Service is still kicking that back over to our office. So those are some of the problems that we're running into. Some of these checks that are returning back. We do have a listing of 800 more new applicants within this month that will be going to the controller. Once she has her consultants filter through them and, pulling out duplicates, etc., we will have about at least another 800 more new applicants that will be paid out. So from the beginning of ARPA hardship, the number of new applicants that have applied has been 40,385. That's how much we counted at our end of how many new applicants have applied. As to the shared CIBs, we are continuously working with the Office of Vital Records. Rob Duncan and his team have been very good at getting back to us and sending us copies of CIBs of original owners of those numbers, and we are putting them on the list for payout. So daily we get about at least 20 to 25 CIBs from an Office of Vital Records so that we can actually match up those numbers and correct those shared CIBs and get the applicants paid out. So that would be my response. Thank you.
Yeah, for your response, Chairman Henio, I have a question, a follow-up.
Commissioner, you have a follow-up? Go ahead with your follow-up.
Thank you, Chairman. Sheriff, thank you. So as we wind down the next three, in terms of the 40,000 plus applicants, the last 2 months, have you experienced any type of surge with new applicants? I'm trying to just get a feel if the application deadline needs to be extended, and then what would be the status of those customers who are still, either waiting for addresses to be corrected, be able to pick up their checks, and our other relatives who are waiting on corrected paperwork. Will their time expire on December 30th? I need to understand more of your internal policies or determinations, if we could have some clarity as we move into these winter months. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Back to Mr. Horst.
Thank you, Honorable Delegate Crotty. Mr. Wallace can provide an answer on that as far as the questions.
Okay, Nana. Okay, to Honorable Crotty's questions. Right now, there is not a huge surge new applicants that have been applying. So it's daily it has been declining, and daily we have applicants that have been coming over here to OOC. The numbers have been declining. And also, of course, the phone calls have been declining. Emails have been declining. We do get calls and emails from applicants, wanting or asking when is the deadline, will it be extended, due to the fact that some of them still haven't received copies or copies of their CIB from Vital Records. I know for a fact that Vital Records is behind on issuing new CIBs. It is taking time. But as far as I know, we do get calls and emails from applicants stating that, the deadline is the 30th of December. Will there be an extension? And like I mentioned earlier, we haven't really gotten together with the controller to see if there is going to be an extension, so that I don't have a full answer for you on that, Ms. Crotty. So that will be my response. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. James, does that complete your response?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that concludes my response. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Back to committee members. Any further questions, comments?
Chairman Henyo, that was with the comment.
Shandeen, you have a follow-up? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, if I could ask the third schedule for your next report in 2 weeks of budget and finance, if you can schedule a call with Madam Controller, and I would appreciate an invitation or the members of this committee and discuss what are our options moving forward. If there's internal policy that will cover the applicants who are waiting for their documentation, and what would that look like in terms of any type of extension, understanding I believe you have over $100 million available for Hardship. So that's a conversation we're going to need to start having within these few weeks to make sure that our relatives are taken care of. Thank you, Chairman Henyo. That is my request. Appreciate it.
This is Delegate Yellowhairs to the Chairman, Honorable Henio.
Shandeen, Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Emerson Hars. Yeah, on the Wallace James for your assistance helping a ARPA Hardship Assistance Program. I have a issues of concern. This relates to a sharing a CIP number. This issue came on in April, and got together with the acting controller, Mr. Begay, to fix it. So I'll work with her to correct. So she sent an email to Mr. Ronald D. Duncan, and nothing really happened. I follow up, and then nothing happened with my email. Another one from acting controller, and nothing happened. And right now we're into October now. Just past Thursday, I met with Mr. Duncan to bring my concern of the two individuals sharing one CIP. And I don't know about the other one. I was pushing one person that has concern about it, and seems like Mr. Duncan not doing much about it. Correct this sharing CIP. So this individual is going to school, needs money and seeing it. So I hope he take care of this. And there's issues right there, the concern I put 6 months ago right now at this time. And my other concern is I hope the Navajo Nation CIP office find a new software like the database should get a new one and correct all these issues so there's no CIP double numbers to another person. So these are issues that Mr. Duncan needs to take care of data. And I'll be meeting with Elizabeth Gay again very soon before this expiration comes around December 31st. It's just like tomorrow. But maybe I'll work with you too, both of you, Mr. Horace and also Mr. James. Today, yeah, not just get Henio, Chairman. Back to you.
Kushina Hirashnanda, Delegate Yellowhair. Mr. Horse?
Thank you, Mr. Yellowhair, Delegate Yellowhair, for your comments. And yes, we will be very happy to work with you in collaboration with Controller Begay and Mr. Wallace James. So yes, and please include us in your next meeting.
Mr. Horse, is that a complete response?
As for the shared CIB, Mr. Delegate Yellowhair, please forward that information to our team lead, Mr. Wallace James, and then we can follow up and provide a response via the email to you. And we work closely with Mr. Duncan's office to address all of the shared CIBs. There's many of those and currently, and the correction, making the correction is a process when it comes to the customer having shared CIBs. So, but yeah, share that email to Mr. Wallace James, if you will. And that completes my my comments, Chair Henio.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horse. Back to committee members. Any further questions, comments?
Chairman, Delegate Yellowhair, follow up.
Shandeen, Delegate Yellowhair, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it for your great help. Looking forward. I'll share this with you, Mr. Horace and also Mr. James. Thank you. Yes, to the chairman. Yeah, by Henson. Yeah,
Okay, here now, Shandeen, for your follow-up. Back to Mr. Horse.
Honorable Chair and via Budget and Finance Committee members, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you for this brief response. We'll move back to the committee. Any further questions, comments?
This is Delegate Begay.
Shandeen, Delegate Elmer P. Begay.
Yeah, no, not Chair Henio. Back to Mr. Horse. I have a question. I know that there's still some people that approach us regarding that they never received their check, and they say that they contacted you guys and you contacted them, and they said that they went to Twin Arrows to pick it up. There's none over there. And they said that they went to numerous of times to OOC, but the checks are not there. But they're, I think they're saying that the communication is very difficult. So, is there any other plans you guys have for people that haven't received their check yet? So this is the past weekend. I just received some of those names again. So I'll be forwarding that to you, and then also this morning too, I got some more. So I'm not sure what kind of plans you have for them to contact them, or is there, if there are plans that you guys current plans you have is not working, what are the plans you have that you guys can reach out to them, or what's the maybe you mentioned about the addresses are correct, but the names or the people that are they're not on the current addresses that they're using. So I'm trying to think about what kind of plans would work for these people. Because they say that they numerous times that they tried to contact you guys, they went over there, but there's none over there. But they've been contacted by you, by your office. So is there any other ways that what kind of plans do you have for people that haven't received a check yet? Some of them that I got sworn in, they never received the first and second check then. So I'll check with them, and then I can forward those names to you this afternoon, definitely. That's my question now, Chair Henia. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Begay. I'll provide a response to, and then I know Mr. James can respond as well. Currently, we have 23 staff within the hardship team. And the team members are all established their roles headed by Mr. James. And so we want to address all of the customers that are in this situation like you're describing, Mr. Begay. So first, thank you for sharing that information with us. And please forward us the customer's name so that we can begin the dialogue. We have daily feeds on emails that come in from the president's office to the controller, and then it comes directly to us. So any customers that need help, we want to help them. So please share that information, and that we can address them, and we want to resolve anything that they may have as far as receiving and not receiving a check. Okay, thank you. Mr. James, please add to that.
Yeah, it's Nana Arnable Elmer Begay. Thank you for your questions and your comments and your concerns that you have. First of all, your comments and questions are surrounding what are our plans to help our applicants. Right now, we have been partnering up with the office of the president and vice president at these fairs, the Navo fairs that have been going on. So this coming Thursday and Friday, we will be over at Western Navajo Fair in Tuba City, and that's where we have our table set up. And this last week, we were over in Shiprock with the Northern Navajo Nation Fair, and then also Winter Rock. So we do have applicants that come by. We have them write down their name and their contact information. Then when we get back here to the office, that we do have a group of individuals that make contact to make callbacks from that listing, assisting the applicants. And not only that, but we also added 8 numbers on the Office of the Controller's website. Those 8 numbers there are direct numbers to the hardship workers, where they completely focus on answering phone calls. So that has been updated on the Office of the Controller's website. And then you also mentioned another individual saying he or she didn't receive the first or second check. The first round of hardship and the second round of hardship and the elders hardship, those all came from the CARES funds. The CARES is now closed out, so those that didn't receive that will not receive hardship 1, hardship 2, or the elders, due to the fact that those are CARES. So right now we are only focused on the ARPA hardship, which we call H4. So we're trying to get as many applicants as we can to apply. I believe that Honorable Crotty did mention, we do have $111 million left for hardship. So those are some of the plans that we have here within our office on how we're contacting these applicants that still have issues or still haven't been paid out. And like I mentioned, we are located in Admin Building 1 in the within the office of the controller on the second floor. Applicants can come in person to check up on the status of their hardship, or apply for hardship also, or to even change their address also. That's my reply. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. Horace, for your response. Back to committee members. Any further questions, comments?
Follow up, Chair Hill.
Shandeen, you have the floor.
Thank you for the response. Oh, see, I'll let them know that they'll be at the Western Fair. I'll let them know. I wrote down the next one is I'm not sure if there's going to be any other hardship, because I'm not sure if how the Inflation Act that was passed by the Congress. They say, is there any information, or is there going to be some type of funding that will be available for the new passage of the Inflation Act by the Congress? That's my question now. Chair Hill, thank you.
Delegate Elmer, PBA. Mr. Horace.
Thank you, Honorable Begay. I don't have a response to that. I haven't seen any funding that is related to that on our site here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Horace. Mr. Horace, is that complete your response?
Yes, sir, Chairman Hendio.
Thank you, Mr. Horace. Back to committee members. Any further questions, comments?
Somebody's house parking. You're on mute.
Delegate Jimmy O'Hare, do you wish to speak? I don't know. Yeah, if there are no further questions, comments, I'll call for the question to accept the report. I don't know. Yeah, roll call vote. Ramona.
Yes, Chairman, can you roll call vote on accepting the report? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Chairman, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 2 members not voting. Chairman?
Thank you. 3 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We have accepted the report. Okay, move forward to next item on the agenda is our FRF update presented by Mr. Tom Platero. Mr. Tom Platero, are you on the call? Mr. Tom Platero? The Tom Platero going once. Mr. Tom Platero going twice. Tom Platero going 3 times. Mr. Platero is not available. So we'll move on to the next item, which is the Navo Nation Department of Personnel Management. Ms. Thomasita Woody, are you on the call? Ms. Thomasita Woody? Mr. Thomasita Woody going once? Ms. Thomasita Woody going twice? Ms. Thomasita Woody going 3 times. No Navajo Nation Department of Personnel Management representative on the line. We'll go next to Mr. Robert Willie. Are you available, Mr. Willie? Mr. Robert Willie?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry. I'm here and I'm available.
Okay, you're next on the report for the updates.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the Budget and Finance Committee, happy Tuesday. It's 11:50. My name is Robert Willie, Accounting Manager for the Office of the Controller. I sent out a report. Hopefully, Ramona was able to send it out. It's the report on the comprehensive budget, and it's actually on the fund types for the Budget and Finance Committee, and the date is October 4th, 2022. So as you all know, the budget for FY23 was signed but line item vetoed by the President on September 24th, 2022. CS 42-22 approved $2.5 billion for the operating budget for FY23. Of that, 193.9 was for the general fund budget. There's also an amount of 23 million for indirect costs. There was a general wage adjustment of 3 million. Dene Higher Education had 12.4. There was 5 million for external cash match. There's 14.6 of the personal lapse, which was utilized for various programs. 2.9 was used for several unmet needs. 93.6 was allocated to proprietary funds. 105 million was fiduciary funds. 37.9 was for special revenue internal, and about 2 million for the special revenue external. As my understanding of this report was for the different fund types and just an overview of the FY23 budget. So what I had included in the write-up that I did were the fund types. And this comes actually directly from the Navo Nation Code, Title 12, Section 810, which is the definitions of the appropriations portion of the code. Number 1 is the governmental fund types. Under that category, there's actually 2, which is general fund and special revenue. General fund, as you know, is the programs that operate the Navajo Nation. The special revenue, there's 2 types. There's external and there's internal. The examples of the internal versions are like the scholarship funds, the tourism fund, EPA funds, road funds, land acquisition, judicial public safety fund, the DPS gaming, DPS alcohol fund, the Dene Healthy Act, the fire and rescue fund. And special revenue is defined as the amount of proceeds for specific that are generated for specific revenue sources. So that's why scholarship is only utilized for scholarship. EPA is only utilized for those specific type of funds, and that's how the revenues are generated. External special revenue are actually the contracts and grants with the governmental agencies, the states and local governments. So that's the difference between the two special revenue types. There's also the capital projects fund, which are actually for capital projects. And then the second type of fund is the proprietary fund. Under proprietary fund, there's two different types. One is called an enterprise fund, and the enterprise fund works like a business. So examples of the enterprise fund are like the BIDF, the personal and home loans, employee housing, parks and recreation, the Fish and Wildlife, the Navajo Nation Code, transit, livestock custody, the annual fair and the 4th of July fund, the tribal ranches fund, the vet sales fund, and the Colorado ranch fund. And so these type of accounts actually build a revenue off of external sources. So they serve the public and they work like a business. The other type of enterprise or proprietary fund is called an internal service. These type of accounts actually are internal. So like fleet management, duplicating services, the office supply center, air transportation, the health benefits program upstairs, the property, casualty, workers' comp, and contingency management are examples of those types of funds, and most of those are internally generated. So the revenues are generated internally from government, other programs within the government. And then the other fund type is the fiduciary. These funds actually belong to other entities but are in the Navajo Nation's care to watch over them, essentially. So like the retirement fund, deferred retirement, the 401k, handicap trust services, senior citizen trust, vocational ed, local governments, and veterans trusts are examples of those types of funds. Also, what was indicated to me as part of this fund, or this report, was how the permanent fund trust income works. So as you know, the first 5-year plan is done and expired. The second 5-year plan, which was passed by Navajo Nation Council Resolution CAP 30-21, is the new 5-year plan, which runs from FY22 to FY26. So we're in the second year of that. So essentially how it's broken down is once the permanent fund income is determined, 40 million of that available fund is sent over to the general fund to help supplement the general fund budget. And any remaining excess after that 40 million shall remain in the permanent fund and shall be available for fund additional needs based upon Navajo Nation leadership. So the types of that examples are like unmet needs. So this year, the leadership did utilize some of the excess income to fund some of the needs. I think GWA was one of them. Controller's office are types that actually got passed within this budget. The other type that the excess excess permanent fund over the 40 could be utilized for our capital projects. And these are like project type funds which leadership would want to fund. And essentially the way the resolution is written is that the funds should remain within the permanent fund and be released based upon a drawdown schedule or disbursement schedule as appropriate, as however the leadership does determine it should be utilized. So that's my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee might have, and thank you for letting me present.
Thank you, Mr. Willie, for your report. Is there a motion to accept the report?
Delegate Yellowhair.
Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Your second? Is there a second to accept the report? Is there a second going once?
Delegate Brown, I'll second.
Delegate Elmer P. Begay. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the report from Mr. Robert Willie. Is there any questions for Mr. Willie? Yeah. We can move forward to the roll call vote. Any questions for Mr. Robert Willie? Let's move forward to roll call vote. Ramona, accepting report for Mr. Robert Willie.
Yes, Chairman, roll call vote on accepting the report. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair, votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Knez-Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Knez-Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Amber Knez-Crotty, how do you vote? Thank you. Honorable Chairman Hinyo, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, Chairman not voting, and 2 members not voting. Chairman?
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote, 3 in favor, 0 opposed, Chair not voting. We accepted the report from Mr. Robert Willie. Thank you, Mr. Willie, for being on the call with us. We'll go next item on our agenda, which is a report from the Office of Management and Budget. Mr. Dominic Biel, are you on the call? Mr. Dominic Biel? Mr. Cordell Shorty, Nisha. Mr. Dominic Biel, or is there any staff member for Office of Management and Budget?
Mr. Chair, this is Dominic Biel.
Okay, Mr. Biel, thank you for being on the call. There is a report that was added during the acceptance of the agenda. And this was to get an update from either Office of Management and Budget or Mr. Plotero, but Mr. Plotero's absent today. So therefore, maybe you could provide information regarding the expenditure and allocations of the ARPA or CARES Fund to the enterprises or Navo Nation programs regarding the usage of these funds to assist Navajo Nation citizens on utility bills such as electric or water. Mr. Biel?
Mr. Chair and committee members, I wasn't aware that this particular subject was being added to the agenda. So for myself personally, I don't have any information at this point. Now, I know this Mr. Shorty, since he deals with ARPA and CARES and so forth, he was trying to get some information together. And I don't know if he's on the line at the moment, but in any case, he would be a better person to provide whatever information we might have at this point. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Biel. He was on the call earlier when we were recognizing guests and visiting officials, but I believe he logged off. And I do agree with you that he would be in a better position to answer these questions or give that report. Mr. Biel? Mr. Biel,
Yes.
Mr. Shorty. I'm sorry. Mr. Shorty, are you there?
Mr. Chair, committee members, this is Cordell.
Okay, Kayla, would you provide us some information regarding this subject?
Addition, I'm in the same situation that Mr. Bial echoed. This item was added to the agenda today. Had we known beforehand, then we would have been better prepared. I did reach out to my staff in contracts and grants for information on grants they oversee that includes budget for electrical or utility service payments, electric, gas, and what have you. A couple of them responded, and none of the grant they oversee does provide funding for that type of assistance. As far as ARPA is concerned, monies are provided to NTUA, and then but most of those are just for to pay costs of electrical line extension. But as far as assistance to individuals, I'm not aware. So when there's only a few staff in the office today too. So once I have the rest of the staff back in the office, we can provide a report as soon as we can compile that and provide it to the committee, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Shorty, would you be able to provide a written report to the committee?
Oh, yeah, we'll do that. We'll email that.
We'll go that route then. Mr. Shorty, for your attention to this item. And so Aben will look out for the written report through Peggy Nakai, and then she'll disseminate it to the committee members. And so with that information, committee members, is there a motion to accept this part of the report with the idea that we'll be getting the written report from Office of Management Budget?
Motion, Delegate McGay.
Motion by Shandeen, Delegate Almer P. Begay. Is there a second? Is there a second? Second by who?
I'm just kidding, Chair. This is Edmund. Just kidding.
Oh. I was like, whose voice is that? Is there a second to the motion to accept the report? There's a second going once. Is there a second going twice?
This is Delegate Brown. I'll second.
Delegate Nathaniel Brown for a second. So we do have a motion by Delegate Elmer P. Begay and second by Delegate Nathaniel Brown to accept the report. That we'll be getting a written report. So we'll go to a roll call vote. Ramona, roll call vote.
Yes, Chairman, roll call vote for accepting the report. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair, votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Knezbot Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Knezbot Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Amber Knezbot Crowdy, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
Thank you. 4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We have accepted the report, and we'll be waiting for the written report. Thank you, Ramona. Moving on our agenda to the next item, item 6, old business legislation 113-22. We did hear representatives from Upper Fruitland chapter on the line early this morning. I did not hear from Chairman Rick Nez. I'll call out for Chairman Nez. Are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Delegate Rick Nez is present. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, Lori, provide us information regarding legislation 113-22. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this legislation, agenda item September 20th, 2022, main motion held by Amber Knezbot Crowdy, second by Nathaniel Brown. Tabling motion by Amber Knezbot Crowdy, second by Nathaniel Brown. Vote 3-0. Yeas, Amber Knezbot Crowdy, Nathaniel Brown, Elmer P. Begay. Table to October 4th, 2022. Meeting until chapter officials and chapter staff are available. So at this point, we do the recall motion, and there is already a main motion by Amber Knezbot Crowdy and Nathaniel Brown. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Spencer, for the background information on legislation 113-22. With this, there'll be motion to bring the matter back before the committee. Is there a motion?
Delegate Yellowhair, motion.
Motion by Delegate Jimmy O'Hare to take this legislation off the table. Is there a second? Motion by Delegate Jimmy O'Hare. Is there a second? There's a second going once.
Commissioner Smith.
Motion and second by Vice Smith. So we do have a motion and second to take this matter off the table. Are there any comments regarding this motion second? To untable 113-22. If there are none, Ramona, a roll call vote. Ramona, a roll call vote.
Chair, I can do the roll call vote.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Spencer.
Okay. Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Nathaniel Brown votes green. Amber Knezbot Crowdy, how do you vote? Amber Knezbot Crowdy, how do you vote? Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair, votes green.
Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Elmer Begay, how do you vote? Elmer Begay, how do you vote? Amber Knazbot-Crowdy, how do you vote? Amber Knazbot-Crowdy, how do you vote? Mr. Chair, you have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 not voting, plus chair not voting. Thank you.
Thank you. 3 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We did have 113-22 off the table. Now we are back on record with this legislation. And we do have a motion and a second established already. And we did hear a report from the Navo Nation Office of the Auditor General. Is there, Ms. Briscoe, are you on the call with us this morning?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Karen Briscoe with the Office of the Auditor General.
Okay, if you would just give us a, give us a high-level overview of your report from the last meeting, and then we will go to the presenters of this legislation. Chairman Nez, Ms. Briscoe.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is Karen Briscoe with the Office of the Auditor General. Present the audit report on the internal audit of the Upper Fruitland chapter. Report was issued back in September of 21. We outsourced this audit to an external firm, and it was completed by the Heinfeld Meachin Company. They reviewed a 12-month period ending March of 21 and had 6 findings. The first finding was that assets were not always properly capitalized, tracked, or insured. Finding 2, cash receipts were not deposited in a timely manner, supported by required documents, consistently and accurately charged and coded, fully reconciled, or reported to the chapter membership each month. Finding 3, the bank reconciliations were not completed timely. 4, cash disbursements were not properly supported by documentation, were not coded in accordance with the adopted chart of accounts, or were not procured according to adopted policies. Finding 5, effective internal controls over the use of fuel cards and distribution of gift cards were not in place. And finding 6, payroll activities approvals were not always being properly documented. The chapter did develop a corrective action plan. We reviewed and accepted that. It was the chapter had their corrective action plan approved by the community membership. So we're here to ask the committee for approval of our audit report and the chapter's corrective action plan. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Ms. Briscoe, for the overview, recap of the report. Although with this, I'll defer to Chairman Nez and your agents. I did hear Ms. Lisa Bird and Ms. Doris Smith on the call earlier. So, Chairman Nez, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman Henyo, honorable members of the Budget and Finance Committee. And I know Senate base of Kisido, Eki Aje. Yet, I don't let that Kodo Auditor General, Ms. Briscoe, has 6 findings, data, Upper Fruitland chapter, and Kaje. I will identify my agents. Lisa Bird is the Vice President. Doris Smith is the Secretary Treasurer. And I believe the chapter manager, Mr. Elvis Key, might be on this call today. This legislation before you, 0113-22, corrective action plan. Has 6 areas of findings that need to be corrected. there was a breakdown that happened. So now the chapter is going to have to fix this. And I understand there's a timeline as well. A question on, I don't know, Senege, we would appreciate your favorable vote for Upper Fruitland chapter to work and improve on these findings, the corrective action plan. Okay? So I know I have 20 minutes, so I'm going to give some time over to the Vice President, Lisa Bird, as well as Ms. Dora Smith and Mr. Elvis Key. If you would allow that, Mr. Chairman, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good morning. Yes, my name is Lisa Bird again, Vice President of Upper Fruitland Chapter. Just reiterating what Delegate Nez had stated, and that we had really worked hard on, mainly, Elvis Key. We had gone through a turnover within our staff, and in this process, we were training and hiring a new AA. So that is still taking place. And so, with that, Elvis is going back and, having a plan to fix all of the findings that they had found during the audit. And you all received in your email, or you should have, and that was our CAP report, just stating that we had gone back and gone through policies and reiterated policies to staff and to chapter officials to get those findings solved and to make sure that we're improving as we go. And just want to say thank you and appreciate your time here. And to the Office of the Auditor General, Karen Britt, thank you for your hard work. I see that you have many of these on your plate, and we just appreciate your guidance and your help. And yeah, thank you.
Ms. Dora Smith?
Yeah, that's Dora Smith, Secretary Treasurer for Upper Fruitland. Kada best sejak do basic agency ada define this in many officials in the lab that has coming to hospital. Kita hana ada then halen. So ahande jawaban dani kado. So ada ishe Christine ada engkau lagi do job is the Josh in that the last of out of physical year 2023 or GGD a job a kahadi ka alon jano na that the new peso to jagi to na jagi so the never should jagi jano the never card ja ado it has a letter she has so in fact no plan do
You know what?
Kada ingit hata si Gigi ado ishe do
No, but
akada yasha report.
No, I can get it.
Thank you. Chapter Manager, Mr. Elvis Key.
It's the regular one, the blue bag. Yeah. All those. Okay, I know.
Please mute your phone.
The blue one. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks.
Mr. Elvis Key. Mr. Chairman Henio, that will be our presentation for Upper Fruitland Chapter's corrective action plan, sir. Back to you.
Thank you, Chairman Nez. For legislation 113-22, there is a motion and second established already. And Shanada, committee members, Budget and Finance Committee. This is a corrective action plan recommended by Navajo Nation Office of Auditor General. Are there any questions from the committee?
This is Delegate Yellowhair, the chairman.
Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair,
Yeah, the chairman, being a committee. I shared all this. It's Homo Rick Nance. Thank you. Yeah, those yeah. I have a question. Number one is with this audit report on Upper Fruitland chapters, are you certified or not certified chapter? Not this kid. They not gonna ask my comments. They all audit, non-certified chapters. They that's a whole go. What findings that but direction action plan. Just not what it's go. Quake opa hinne se hunste. I'd like to see the chapters to become a certified chapter to this. Even this case, of course, it 6 months by to correct a action plan. Just ending a cocoa audit not expect to be a committee has just been done. No, that not which a whole just let. A cotido in Hoko area out of lab kitchen on it to take away the book or something like that. What cost time? Of course, it's kind of a lot to delay to get this chapter to be certified. What ego? What correction action plan? How long? All the never to know wheel na later community. See what that? The team barrage club. At Japan, this case, I don't know that instant. So now not in a we're not being recognized or recommended to be certified chapters or tasha certified law probably to best up on that extra with a opa Spanish o quirky a kunde or sinque obey this thought is a green vote for the report and this can be done correction and they said there are new as the staff under a Fruitland chapters of Fruitland chapters. One soba seedless. So I'm ready to vote green. Just wait for my other colleagues. Thank you. Turn back to you.
Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. I know one question. Chairman Nez, Delegate Yellowhair regarding certification. As LGA certified or not?
Thank you very much, Chairman Henyo, for allowing us to respond. I will allow my agent, the Vice President, Lisa Bird, to respond. And thank you, Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, for asking that question. So if you would, Mr. Chairman, I'll give the time over to Ms. Bird.
Thank you, Delegate Nez. Thank you, Delegate Yellowhair, for that question. I would just like to assure the committee that we did work on many trainings with the ASC Administrative Services Center to correct all of these findings. We are a certified chapter, and we just like to reiterate all of the findings that we had were fixed. That included us participating in a fixed assets training. One of the findings was a capital asset listing was not listed, and that was actually added to the fixed assets list. So that was corrected, and we just wanted to ensure that the proper codes were on the accounts, and that was checked by our ASC supervisor, Elizabeth Washburn, working closely with, Elvis and the new AA. She has been our AA for less than a year. So in 1 year, she's had an audit thrown at her, and the fiscal closeout, the carryover budget allocation. So we just really appreciate your vote, and just to assure you that we did work hard on correcting the findings in the audit. And when we have the next audit, we'll be able to surpass those corrections. And we just like to reiterate that we do our monthly bank reconciliation, monthly collaboration with our chapter manager, our AA chapter president, myself, Secretary Treasurer Doris Smith. And we do, discuss the budget. We, in thorough detail, we are very on top of these findings, and we just appreciate, like I said, again, your time. Let's see. I just wanted to also let you know the correct process for the cash deposits was corrected. Like I said, we had a new AA in the time that the cash deposit was not correctly deposited. We were in a pandemic, and currently we're not in the office majority of the time. So that did have to kind of account the audit findings. So, oh, excuse me, sorry, but thank you again. The Secretary Treasurer would be able to answer any, specific monetary questions, but we really did work hard during this last couple of years, this last couple of months and year to correct all of these findings, and to make sure that we have a process and policies in place to not go back to the audit and not be able to find any findings, and to just pass it, from the first time. So thank you again. If you have any other questions, and thank you, Delegate Yellowhair, and committee for hearing us. And if the report wasn't sent to you all, we can definitely send it again. But again, I believe our president might be on the line. I'm not sure. I do see her number, but just again, reassuring you all, thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Hideo, back to you, sir.
Chairman Nez and Ms. Lisa Bird. With this, moving forward, back to the committee. Any further questions, comments? I'll call for the question to accept the legislation 113-22, which is the corrective action plan for Upper Fruitland chapter. Tenaya Ramona, a roll call vote.
Sure, Chairman Hino, roll call vote on approving the legislation. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Go ahead.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bakrati, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bakrati, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
I'll vote green, just Delegate Begay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Amber Canaz-Crotty, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative or opposing, chairman not voting, and 2 members not voting. Chairman?
Okay, thank you for the roll call vote. 3 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We have accepted legislation 113-22. Again, Chairman Nez for being on the call, although Shanada, Vice President Byrd, and Secretary Treasurer Smith.
Thank you very much, Chairman
Thank you.
Henyo, honorable members of Budget and Finance Committee. God bless.
Mike Kashina, let's move forward to the next item on our agenda. Legislation under new business 7, new business legislation 159-22. As Chairman Edmund Yazi on the call. Going once?
Chairman Delegate Freeland on the call for the record. Thank you.
Okay,
I'm here, Chair.
Okay, Delegate, almost said Edmund Freeland. Select Delegate Mark Freeland's on the call for the record. Although I did hear Chairman Yazi on the call here. So Ms. Spencer, if you read the legislation into the record for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Budget Finance Committee. Tracking number 0159-22, an act relating to the Resources and Development, Budget and Finance, and Navajo committees, and to the Nomination Council, allocating $10,031,897 from the Citizen Fund for the Mariano Lake Chapter Multi-Purpose Building Project, approving the related expenditure plan pursuant to 12 NNC Section 2501 through 2508. This will move forward to Navajo Committee and Nomination Council. Attached are the exhibits, which is Exhibit A, Mariano Lake Chapter New Multi-Purpose Building Construction. Following that is the table of contents, which includes summary, page 1, background, number 2, critical need, number 3, benefits, number 4, completed activities, number 7, subject matter expert, number 8, construction budget, number 9, design, number 10, scope of work, 11, chapter resolution, number 12, nomination budget forms, number 13, and these are all attached to the legislation here. Exhibit B, which is the resolution of the Mariano Lake Chapter Resolution number MLC 2022-04-04, and has gone through the 5-day comment process, and there are no comments supporting, opposing, or comments or recommendation. It has gone through the Resources and Development Committee. If they do pass, vote with 4 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 not voting, which is the chair. Not voting was Thomas Walker Jr. and Ricky Nash, chairperson, and the roll call is attached. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the reading of the legislation to the record. Is there a motion?
Delegate Yellowhair, motion for the
Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Is there a second? Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Is there a second? Going once? Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Is there a second? Going twice?
Second, Delegate Begay.
Delegate Elmer P.V. Gay, second. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. With this, we'll move forward to our sponsor, Shananda, Delegate Edmund Yazi, Kodo. Provide information on your legislation to the committee.
Okay, Chair Hino and committee members, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yellowhair and Mr. Begay for making the motion on the legislation. Committee members, ask for your support on this legislation. I do have our chapter, Mariana Lake CSC, Leandra, who's on call. And so this legislation is requesting funds from the CSN for Mariana Lake chapter. Currently now the chapter is meeting in a small modular building, and it's the wishes of the committee members that are requesting that the council, that they're asking for their council's approval for the fund request that we are making on behalf of Mariana Lake chapter. Committee members, all the documents has been attached, and every document that is required to present this legislation to the council is within the package. And so at this time, committee members, I just also want to share that I know within the years that we've been on council, and many delegates have requested funds for their chapters, and 100% on my part was in favor of helping the delegates request needs for their area. And so asking for your support in this case here, my colleagues. And so at this time, Chair Hino, I would like to give my time to Leandra, our chapter CSC, Mr. Hino, Chair Hino.
Thank you, Shandeen. Delegate Edmund Yazzie. This their agent, Leandra?
Yes, Chair Hino. Yes, she is.
Okay, she has the floor now.
Okay. Leandra?
Yes, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon to my delegate Yazzie. Thank you. I appreciate this time. And good afternoon, Chairman Hino and all of the committee members. Good afternoon to all of you, and I appreciate the time right now to present our requests. So basically, if I could go to the beginning of this just briefly, our planning for this new building began in 2015. Our community members actually wanted, we actually started this entire project with the hope of renovating the existing building. However, through the process of that, that didn't happen. Once all the tests were completed, all the studies, the building came out to, it basically exceeded its useful life. The chapter house building was built originally in 1952, and it went through a few renovations, a few additions, and so it went through some changes of its own, improvements here and there where it could, receive those improvements. But when it came down to the planning of it, one thing that the community decided in 2015 was basically the foundation. They decided on they created, I guess, the plan of how they wanted their chapter house to be. And the goal has been from the beginning that it become a multi-purpose facility. So, meaning that we would have all services under one roof. We did a lot of preparation. We had a lot of discussion with our community members. We've held many evening and weekend sessions, and the community members made its decision to house our veterans along with our senior citizens and our chapter, the administration office, including additional services of, we identified a need for a computer room. So we integrated that with a library, and then a cafeteria for all, basically a multi-use cafeteria for the senior center, and then opening it up to the public at a small fee. So along with the meeting hall, and we basically looked at our budget. We have done our research with the community in listening to all the concerns that the nation has. We've listened to their research, our Navajo Nation leaders, you all, our council members, and we know that one thing that's always discussed annually throughout the year actually is the budget. So we didn't want to, we wanted to maximize the services that we could provide and the assistance that we could give using our current budget and using our current staff, which is myself as the CSC and our AMS. But so in doing so, we created a plan and a building to meet that goal from the very beginning. And we've been able to obtain, we have a budget. We've been able to secure $4.5 million, and that was almost half of what we needed for the building. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the price increased on the construction costs. So due to that cost, it it increased our need. So respectfully, we're moving forward with our plan, and we've done all of our pre-planning, our planning, our design. We have our community. They're completely in support to this project. It's been our #1 project for our ICIP for years now, and we're now at the tail end. We're basically shovel ready. We're not just construction ready, we're shovel ready, meaning as soon as we get the funds for this, we're ready to go into construction. We're ready to build a building. And we've done everything that we could within our capability and within our reach to continue services, to not hinder any services that we have available for our community. Although we're working out of a small modular building right now, we've been able to continue all the planning and preparation and just move forward for our community. Unfortunately, our in the past years, over a decade ago, our chapter went through some struggles. So the staff at that time, there were some, I guess, mismanagement, and during an audit, when I had just started, we actually went through an audit, and I was only here for a couple months, but there was just getting on board. There was a whole lot for me to immediately tackle for my community, And through the years, we've done that. We've tackled all the improvements for the administrative area, as long as the services, as well as our infrastructure. We've been just focused on providing that service, and we've been the middle person to carry out all the tasks on behalf of the nation to serve our community members. So we've been working hard for our nation, paying attention to all the discussions that happen, all the way from our council level to our president's office, all the way to our division directors and our own division director. We've been just trying to meet everything, and I feel we've been successful, and we've been working extremely hard to this. With this, we've been working as a team. Our chapter administration, which includes our chapter officials, along with our community land use planning committee, along with our veterans committee, senior council, just everyone here in Mariano Lake, our community members. We've been working hard at just trying to improve the lives of our community members. And successfully this year, we did come out of, fiscal year 22, our sanction was lifted, and we improved those areas that were I guess lacking, and we've been just trying to make all the improvements that we could. During the pandemic, we completed house wiring project. We've assisted close to 70 homes with house wiring. We've done drop line connections. We also, during the pandemic, we also completed 2 power line projects. And of course, we have road improvements. We've done many bathroom additions, and we're constantly reassessing our community, and we're always trying to help with the infrastructure. And, our goal is definitely to try to meet the community needs at 100% or more. And one area that is extremely important is we are in major need of this building. We have done a lot as far as the services provided during the emergency, but there's so much more that we can do, so many more resources that are willing to come in, that are trying to come in, that have actually came out and have provided outside sessions to the community members, where although we have a small space, we're working with E-rate and we're trying to do a computer library. So we've got all these things going, and we're just trying to do better and provide more service to the community. We're helping with training development. We're constantly working with workforce program, and we get our young adults here. So we're trying to integrate more programs and resources to provide different types of training. And right now, with the limitation of the building, the capacity, it's really hard. The winters are extremely difficult. We're not able to do anything, any type of training sessions for the community members. There's just a whole lot that we're trying to do. The number one goal is we're trying to educate our community members. Unfortunately, during COVID, we had a lot of losses in the community because many of our community members were, they had addictions to drugs and alcohol. And when they got COVID, unfortunately, they passed. And we really want to tackle and educate our community in all areas, anything and everything that we can do. Our veterans, they need our support. they want to have their own space. Our senior council wants to have their own space. We want to provide meals to our elders here in the community, and right now we can't do that. We can't. We I guess you can say we're helpless in the area of providing them meals. We go out and assess, we meet with them, we try to do everything we can. We try to help with everything we can, but we're very limited in what we can actually accomplish. And there's just so much more that we can accomplish for our community with a new building. So we're able to continue operation from this new building using our annual budget. We don't have to have an increase. We've thankfully in our design, we basically worked out the modifications there. We've designed the building to meet that. We're even goaling for solar. So even in the building itself, we've made a plan where the roof of the building is going to be solar. So we're trying to do all of these things. We're just asking for the support and our Navajo Nation to embrace this project and help us in providing services to the community members and showing our elders and our kids, just everyone from infancy to elders, that we can provide trainings, that we can have all of these services in one area, and we can maximize the use of the funds, the budget that's available to us now, and maximize all of that and bring everybody into one central area. So we're asking for your support and your assistance and your understanding. And thank you again, Shanat Ani. Thank you to all of you. I appreciate your time. I'm sorry I just jumped right into this. I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Leandra James. I'm the Community Services Coordinator at Mariana Lake Chapter. I've been here for 8 years. And Kia Ani and Shlon Tobai Bashishin Ashi Dashiche Chishideshini Dashanale. So I'm from here, and it's an honor and a privilege to be working here for, I'm very honored to have this position because I get to serve my community members who I know as well, because I'm also from here. So thank you. I appreciate this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. James. So Chair Hino, that will conclude our presentation, and would ask the members for their support. Chair Hino.
Thank you for the presentation on this legislation. With this, I'll defer to the Budget and Finance Committee. Are there any questions, comments, committee members?
Chairman, this is Delegate Yellow Hair.
Delegate Jamie Yellow Hair, you have the floor.
Yes, it's Chairman. Autos, it's sponsor, Edmund Yazi, Subiji, Raymond Smith, Aronda. Mr. Freeland, too. Auto Corona, Nelson, Zanki, here. Piano Lake Chapter's Community Coordinator, Kuro, Pananlogi. This is a great to help your community like this. I like your plan here to build a Piano Lake Chapter multi-purpose building project. Therefore, support this project. I'll vote green when time comes. Once it's like yes, to the Chairman Henio.
Delegate Jimmy Yellow. Is there any further questions, comments? Defer back to Chairman Yazi. Do you wish to respond or to the comment that was made?
Chairman Henio, no, I appreciate the comment, Mr. Yellowhair.
Kushina, Seems like there are no further questions, comments from the committee. If there are none, I'll call for the question to accept the legislation. So Ramona, roll call vote.
Yes, Chairman Henyo, roll call vote for approving the legislation. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote? Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 2 members not voting. Chairman?
Okay, here enough for the roll call vote. 3 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Legislation 159-22 receives a due pass. I'd like Chairman Yazzie for your presentation.
Thank you, committee members and Chairman Nino. Thank you.
Kashina, let's move forward to the next item, 161-22. Do you hear Vice President, Vice Chair Smith on the call here with us? So, Ms. Spencer, if you read the legislation to the record for us, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tracking number 0161-22. An action relating to resources and development, budget and finance, Navajo committees, and Navajo Nation Council. Allocating 5,000 in citizen funds to the Navajo Nation Oil and Gas Company for development and construction of the Tessana C-Store, approving and adopting the Tessana C-Store expenditure plan pursuant to 12 NNC subsections 2501 through 2508. This will move forward to Navajo Committee and Navajo Nation Council. And Exhibit A is the resolution of the Untitled Chapter. Following that is the Exhibit B, which is the proposal that was forwarded by the Navajo Oil and Gas Company and the Navajo Petroleum LLC. Following that is the committee report from the Resources and Development Committee, which passed with the 501. And attached is the roll call tally sheet attached at the end. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the reading. We'll move forward to motion. Is there a motion?
Delegate Yellowhair, motion. Chairman.
Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Is there a second?
Delegate Begay, second.
Okay, second by Delegate Elmer P. Begay. Though with this, we'll move forward to a presentation for 20 minutes. Vice Chair Smith. Vice Chair Smith.
Yes, Chair Henry, I'm here.
Okay, there is a motion second on the legislation, and you have 20 minutes if you want to provide presentation to the committee.
Thank you, Chair Henio and the Budget and Finance Committee members of the Navajo Nation Council and those that are listening on board. Appreciate the time to present this legislation. This legislation is for the request from citizen dollars in the amount of $5 million for a C-store out in the area called Tsisa'ana at the gateway of Route 12, the scenic byway off of I-40. And oil and gas will be operating and running the operation. They have done a feasibility study and they've done the planning and they've got everything ready and it's shovel ready. And I do have my agent with me, Mr. Damon, who is on board to present any questions that may be posed by the Budget Finance Committee member. But from the state line all the way out towards Sanders, they did a exit study and the land is there, the power's there, the everything that needs to be done for the convenience store. There'll be a Chevron station and there'll be a good sizable convenience store for folks that are traveling on I-40 and heading up towards Winter Rock and heading south of Winter Rock and getting onto the I-40, whether they're going eastbound or westbound. And the study on that I-40 daily is over 60,000 vehicles per day. And if we could capture $1 for each vehicle per day, imagine how much funding that Navajo Nation get, and that oil and gas will be receiving the taxes from the sales of the petrol, and that would be beneficial for employment and also to utilize the sales tax within the Lupton chapter certified. And we're excited about getting that C-store in place by the oil and gas, and we appreciate oil and gas doing the feasibility study and making sure everything that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and everything's in place. So at this point in time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Albert Damon to give a little brief insight on what oil and gas is intending to do. At this point in time, Chair Henio, appreciate that and appreciate the motion and the second. And we did present this to RDC, and RDC was all in favor of getting the C-store out there. And I remember when we did present this to RDC, they were saying, oil and gas was saying, immediately as soon as they open the doors and have a grand opening, that it's going to be profit making. There's going to be no loss of revenue. So this is a well thought out plan and well thought out operation to have a C-store. So at this point in time, I'd like to have Mr. Albert Damon, and I think maybe the Lupton chapter president might be on board, Yvonne Murphy. I'm not sure, but at this point in time, Chair, I'd like to turn the floor over to Albert Damon. Albert, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Honorable Smith, and Chairman Henio, and Budget and Finance members. My name is Albert Damon. I'm currently sitting on the board of Navajo Nation Oil and Gas, and I'm out of Sawmill, and we're up here doing architecture. I'm trained in architecture, and that's where we helping oil and gas do these stores. And it is true, we did do a study there. This is a fantastic spot. We always want to target I-40. It is an area that we believe the volume of traffic there would make a great store. And so we did the study, as Mr. Smith explained, and we looked at all the exits there, all the way to just about Pinta Road, all the way into what is the casino area there. And this was the best site. This site has everything we need. It has water, 3-phase power, access to I-40, and also the community is available for work there too. As you know, we hire about anywhere from 10 to a dozen people at each of our stores, and we'd be loving to hire more people here. And the store is about 5,000 square feet. It's a medium-sized store, and it should have everything in there you need. And we want to work with the community on this to plan that out. And it's at 1.8 acres. Just if you know where the trap house is in Lupton, it's basically southeast of it, there on the flat land. It's been cleared. It previously in the 70s was a police substation site. We took it over to ask the chapter if we could put a store there. And the feasibility was completed, and it turned out that it was a great store. Out of the 60,000 that go by there that Mr. Smith reiterated, we presume that maybe 3, 4, 5% of them will actually pull off. So you have access to 2,000 or 3,000 every day going by that store there. And this is only the beginning. Lufkin has plans for laundromats, Starbucks, and all these other things there in the corner. And they have access to the interstate, which is the beauty of it. And also, what we found is that if we can get help in building these stores, it makes them profitable straight away. And that's the beauty of it. And that's kind of why we're going after this. We were successful for Blue Gap. We're doing the same thing at Blue Gap. We're putting a Chevron station there. And this one will be Chevron related because it's a name brand. And on the interstate, all the Californians see Chevron, they pull off along with their money. And so that's what we were hoping. And the studies turned out really good. The access to and from the site is fairly good. We all know that the eastbound turnoff there off I-40 is kind of tight, but I think that'll get resolved in the future by the state of Arizona once they start marching east on their bridge building. That much being said, we are available for questions, and also we have the ability to run these stores. We're actually making more money on these stores now, and I-40 is our target, and so we would welcome the opportunity to bring these things. In fact, if anybody's going to Phoenix today, it would be nice to have a store to pull off there, gas up, load up, get your coffee, and get on the interstate and head down the road. That is kind of what we are targeting. We want to be able to do that. And if there's any more questions, we'd be glad to answer, but we are looking forward to doing it. We have an architect on staff. We hired one. His name's Greg Lambright. He does all the major ones in the Southwest and in Arizona. And so he is on board. So we are moving forward, looking for other sites too, but funding from this CHSIN money would be excellent. And we look forward to more work. And we might want to say if this store is open, not only does the Navajo Nation get jobs, they get the fuel sales tax, they get the store in sales tax, and the community has a nice local place that they can go to. And so those are really the things that come about, and this can pay for itself. 4 or 5 years down the road, this should be able to pay for itself in the long run. And again, this will be a store only. We did do a study for a truck stop facility, but the community didn't want that type of traffic. And so we are down to the store. But there is more area out there. We'll be putting in infrastructure to help the community build up more in future down the road. They'll have pipes and power and all this other stuff going in. And so we are glad to help at Oil and Gas. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Damon, for the insight on behalf of this legislation and the work that Navo Oil and Gas has provided and the futuristics of what's going to happen in that area and what we're planning to do. And the community is all excited about this, and they passed a resolution, and it should be an Exhibit A. So at this point in time, Chair Henio and Budget and Finance Committee members, we ask for your consideration and your blessing to ensure that we do use citizen dollars to the best of its advantage and help our community out there and help the Navajo Nation and capture those dollars that are flowing freely through I-40 and the scenic byway of Route 12, and we'll make a historic event over there and make this a doable project that we will see will benefit not only the community but also the Navajo Nation and those that will be traveling and utilizing that facility for the purposes of our intent on this utilizing the citizen dollars. So I'll turn the floor over back to you, Chair Henio. We're ready for questions.
Here, Vice Chair Smith. This move to committee members in the Budget and Finance Committee. Are there any questions, comments?
Yell here.
Jim Gill here.
Thank you, Chairman. Still here. Give me the floor. Thank you very much. To Honorable Raymond Smith for bringing this economic development, returning Navajo Nation is economic development. auto here, Mr. Damon, to assist Honorable Raymond Smith. This is a great plan. So it's going to be just right there on I-40. But remember that you have a very competitor out there and business truck stop right there, not too far. We must even maybe less 2 cents less gas. Going to really work because we're going to have to work on this business, continue business development. Also, less profit. At least this got to be done in order to have a good business going on. Otherwise, we don't want to leave our customer move to a big truck stop. You got to know your business to take care of this business. Do a good job. I support this legislation 0161-22. I'm ready to vote for green. Yeah, Chairman. Henio.
For your comments and support. With this, I'll move forward to any further questions, comments. We'll call for a roll call vote to legislation 161-22. Ramona, a roll call vote.
Yes, Chairman, roll call vote on approving the legislation. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth-Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes in favor.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes in favor. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Crotty, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
Okay, 4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Legislation 161-22 receives a due pass. I'd like Vice Chair Smith for providing this legislation to the committee.
Yeah, Chair Henio, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts from Susana, Arizona, and I hope that we can all celebrate when the grand opening is finally there to open the doors. Thank you, Navo Oil and Gas too. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Vice Chair Smith. Moving forward to next item C, legislation 162-22. Che, Delegate Odoso, Vice Chair Odoso, are you available? Vice Chairman Delegate Odoso.
Chairman, this is Delegate So. I'm on the line. Thank you.
With this, Ms. Spencer, if you read 162-22 to the record, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair and members of the Budget Finance Committee, tracking number 0162-22, an action relating to law and order, budget finance, and Nabakia committees approving and authorizing a renewal contract between the Navo Nation and the United States Department of the Interior under 25 USC Section 5301 at SEC PL 93-638 as amended for a 5-year term for the period beginning January 1st, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2027 for the Juvenile Corrections Program, approving and authorizing the fiscal year annual funding agreement and scope of work for the period of the contract term. This will move forward to Nabakia Committee, and attached is the document is Exhibit A, which is the agreement between the Secretary of the Department of the Interior and the Navo Nation. Following that is the fiscal year 2023 annual funding agreement between the Navo Nation and the United States Department of the Interior. And then following is another document, which is Exhibit B, Section 164 review form. It has gone through from the public safety, and it's gone through the programs such as OMB, OOC, OAG, and Navajo Nation Department of Justice. Document review request form is attached also. Contracts and grants section OMB. Document review check on grant application or work modification. And Navajo Nation Division of Finance, Office of Controller. 164 or signature authorization sheet, finance sheet for OOC. Has gone through the 5-day comment. There are no comments received. And has gone through the Law and Order Committee, and it was passed with 302 on September 26, 2022. And there's also a tally sheet, vote tally sheet attached at the end, Mr. Chair.
I guess you need head along for the reading of the legislation to the record. Though this will move forward to motion. Is there a motion?
Delegate Yellowhair, motion.
Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Is there a second?
Vice Chair Smith.
Second by Vice Chair Smith. So we do have a motion and second on the floor. Are there any questions on the legislation?
Chairman, Select Chairman, Delegate Yellowhair.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Gashina,
Yes, sir.
Gashina, with that, we do have a question, so I'll move to Sache. Delegate Odoso to introduce the legislation to the committee.
Very much, members of the Budget and Finance Committee. This particular legislation is legislation number 0162-22, which was read into the record. This particular legislation is pertaining to the 638 contract that the Navajo Nation and the United States government, Department of Interior, under the Indian Self-Determination Act, around 1975, which Congress has gave that authority to allow Indian tribes to administer and oversee certain programs. But in this particular case, under the 638 contract, is pertaining to the correction facilities on the Navajo Nation. And in this case, this particular legislation is talking about the juvenile correction facilities. And this agreement that moves forth through the standing committees and through the final authority of Navkiati committee, it will authorize this 638 contract to be, we will go into this agreement as of January 1st, 2023 for a number of 5 years up to December 31st, 2027. Under this contract, it will guarantee the Navajo Nation funding for over the course of the next 5 years, particularly to the juvenile correction program. This is not anything pertaining to patrol or anything else. It's to the juvenile correction facility. Juvenile, it's not talking to anything about crimes and so forth. It's talking about the juvenile correction program in Ajana we will be accepting these dollars over the course of the next 5 years. It's just every 5 years we do renew a 638 contract pertaining to this issue, and it's pertaining to the juvenile facilities. With that, Chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman Henio, that's my presentation at this time, and I stand for questions.
Question again, Vice Chair, also, the move into the Budget and Finance Committee, Delegate Jim Yellowhair, with your question.
Yeah, that's to the Chairman Henry and Carson being the committee. Although to the honorable also bring us a very important legislation which deal with the juvenile correction program. For the next 5 years up to 2027. Indeed, this is 38. Once the hard light body that's honorable also. I'm ready to vote green. Or return back to you, Chairman Henio.
Katrina Kedla. Kodo Nadner Kadi. Defer back to you, Che. Delegate Odoso, Vice Chair Odoso, response.
Members of the Budget Finance Committee, also Chairman Henio, responding to Mr. Shina, Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair's question. This particular contract services the whole Navajo Nation. So our juvenile correction program that's across the Navajo Nation. For instance, we have a facility in Tuba City. I believe there's a facility in Kayenta. Little facilities. The other is in Chinle. So we have facilities on the nation that this contract will service. It's servicing the Navajo Nation as a whole. That's the reason why the Navajo Nation has entered the 638 contract, and we under the 638 contract, Washington baby 638 contract
Katrina Kedla, for the response. Moving forward, the committee again. Any further questions, comments from the Budget and Finance Committee?
Follow up, Delegate Yellowhair, for the Chairman.
Delegate Yellowhair.
Okay, thank you very much, Tlaoro. Thank you, let's juvenile correction program for our kids. My follow up. Thank you, Chairman. Back to you.
Katrina Kedla, Delegate Yellowhair. Any further questions, comments, committee members? Then I'll move forward to roll call vote. If there are no questions. Ramona, a roll call vote to accept legislation 162-22.
Yes, Chairman Henry, roll call vote for approving the agenda. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yeller votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Canas-Balcrotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Canas-Balcrotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes in favor.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes in favor. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Amber Canas-Balcrotty, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
Okay, we have 4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. 162-22 receives a due pass, and then moves on to non-dedicated committee. They'll move forward to Vice Chair Odoso again. Legislation 163-22. Ms. Spencer, if we read that into the record, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Budget Finance Committee. Tracking number 0163-22. An action relating to law and order, budget finance, and Navajo committees. Approving and authorizing a renewal contract between the Navajo Nation and the United States Department of the Interior under 25 U.S.C. Section 5301 et seq. PL 93-638 as amended for a 5-year term for the period beginning January 1st, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2027 for the adult detention services. Approving and authorizing the fiscal year annual funding agreement and scope of work for the period of contract term. This will move forward to Navajo Committee. Attaches the Exhibit A, which is the agreement between the Secretary of Department of the Interior and the Navajo Nation. Going through the document, there's also a scope of work is attached to the document here. Following that, there's Exhibit B, which is a Section 164 review form for Division of Public Safety and has gone through OMB, OOC, OAG. Following that is the Navajo Nation Department of Justice document review request form, and then following contracts and grants section OMB and Navajo Nation Division of Finance Office of the Controller has gone through the 5-day comment. No comments received. And there is a Law and Order Committee report attached dated September 26, 2022 with a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 not voting. And the tally sheet is attached at the end. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Shana, thank you for the reading of the legislation. Is there a motion?
Delegate Yeller, motion.
Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Second. Is there a second? Going once? Motion by Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair. Legislation 163-22. Is there a second? Going twice?
Vice Chair Smith, second.
Second by Vice Chair Smith. We do have a motion second on the floor. This is a similar legislation, but with adult detention services. Are there any questions, committee members?
Delegate Yeller.
There's a question, so therefore defer to Delegate Odoso for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me first?
Oh, Huditsa.
Yeah, Nana. I need this legislation 0163-22, which had been read into the record, is similar to legislation 0162-22. This is the funding agreement between the Navajo Nation and the federal government, the U.S. Department of Interior. And it's particularly speaking to the 638 contract to the adult detention centers. As of January January 1st, 2023 to January 31st, 2027. It will mandate funding for that service for over the course of 5 years. So the adult detention facility, the Neti are Navajo employees who work as detention facilities, Navajo Nation staff that works there at the facility under the contract. Transport atata hod ahota ade dashit hadit ego da salada big so ya big aj ibn khan aj aj ya built do aj they just go into that facility in lego ya the never care baka ya da hona honene is I don't understand I don't codnish I don't is other dish I don't in the yeah so there's two facilities that have detention facilities that have issues a Terahotsan Kito Anat Ani Mez so a dashin so I basically show you in the yan so because the facility is condemned at the two places. So but our facilities that are newly built should be able to handle the to hold these people in, so that that they could be held there if they have committed any crime. So the adult detention facility has but it's a similar legislation, the same legislation as legislation 0162-22, but in this case 0163-22 speaks to the adult detention portion of the 638 contract. So again, this is on the Navajo Nation. Thank you for the motion and thank you for the second, Mr. Honorable Yellowhair and Honorable Vice Chair Smith. I yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Chair, are you still on the call?
Okay, with that, sorry, I okay, slate track here. This we'll move forward. Che Delegate Oduso for your presentation. Adoption and Delegate Jimmy Yell here. Your question?
Yes, to the Chairman Henio, thank you very much. Also, Chairman, also, Benardesh Kilsene Hatzi, two locations, Vesaga Hatzani Donle, for not Ani Nej, Nakio Aya Hatzi. All of here, bring this legislation is very important too. Unsatol is my follow up. Thank you, Chairman Henio. Floor back to you.
Delegate Jamil here. With this, let's move for any further questions, comments, committee members. Denoya, we'll move towards roll call vote. Ramona, a roll call vote.
Yes, Chairman Henyo, roll call vote on approving the legislation. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Amber P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Amber P. Begay votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. I do pass on 163-22. Vice Chairman Otoso, thank you. Bring your legislation
Thank
to
you
the
very
board committee.
Chairman. Chairman
Kushina.
Hinio.
Che.
Members of Budget Finance Committee for supporting this legislation and moving on to Nambikia Committee. I would like to thank you guys very much for your vote, and we'll have another conversation at Nambikia, the upcoming Nambikia Committee. Thank you.
Kushina's Che. With this legislation 178-22 and 179-22 are both my legislation. So with this, I'll defer to Vice Chair Smith if he could take over the reins.
Thank you, Chair Henio. We have the legislation read into record at this point in time. And thank you for being on the board. And
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Tracking number 0178-22, an act relating to Budget Finance Committee approving the amended and restated Navajo Nation Master Investment Policy. This will stay with the Budget Finance as the final authority. Section 1A, Authority A, the Budget Finance Committee is a standing committee of Navajo Nation Council, empowered with the authority to coordinate, oversee, and regulate the fiscal, finance, investment, contracting, and audit policies of the Navajo Nation. 2 NNC Section 300C, Section 300C1. As well, the committee is authorized to coordinate and review all physical, financial, investment activities of the Navajo Nation. 2 NNC Section 301B5. B, the Budget Finance Committee adopted and has subsequently amended from time to time the Navajo Nation's Master Investment Policy, which includes investment policies for all Navajo Nation financial resources. See resolution numbers BFO 6190, BFJY 11403, BFJA 0108, BFJN 1715, BFD 3817, and BFD 4117. The Budget Finance Committee approved the current version of the Master Investment Policy in resolution number BFD 4518. C, the Navajo Nation Council established the Navajo Nation Investment Committee in resolution CAU-39-73. The Investment Committee served as an advisory group to the Budget Finance Committee regarding the management of the Navajo Nation for financial investment. D, pursuant to section 1.1, 4.3A, 4.8A, and 22 of the Master Investment Policy, the Investment Committee is responsible for approving and making recommendations to the Budget Finance Committee regarding amendments to the Master Investment Policy, to various sub-policies, and to asset class Guidelines, Section 2, Findings A. Pursuant to her duties under Section 4.4 of the Master Investment Policy, the acting controller has coordinated with the investment office, the investment staff of the Office of Controller and with Department of Justice, and has been recommended to the investment committee and an amendment to Section 4.2 of the Master Investment Policy, which amendment would remove the position of Executive Director of Office of the Navajo Tax Commission as a voting member of the investment committee and install the position of Attorney General as a voting member of the investment committee. The proposed amendment to the Master Investment Policy edit version is attached here to as Exhibit A. A clean version of the proposed amendment is attached as Exhibit B. B. The investment committee has reviewed the recommendation of the acting controller relating to the approval of the proposed amendment described herein, and recommends that the Budget Finance Committee approve the amendment as shown in the attached Exhibit A. The investment committee's resolution number NNICF-01-22 is attached as Exhibit C. Section 3, approval. The Budget Finance Committee accepts the recommendations of the controller and the investment committee and hereby approves the amendment to the Master Investment Policy to remove the position of Executive Director of the Office of the Navajo Tax Commission as a voting member of the investment committee and install the position of Attorney General as a voting member as shown in Exhibit A and B. Section 4, effective date. This act shall become effective pursuant to 2 NC Section 221C. Section 5, saving clause. If any provision of this act is invalidated by the Supreme Court of the Navajo Nation or by the Navajo Nation District Court without appeal of the Navajo Nation Supreme Court, the remainder of this act shall be the law of the Navajo Nation. And this document has 191 pages. So Exhibit A is the Navajo Nation Master Investment Policy, and it ends at page 46. From there, Exhibit B, clean version, starts on page 51. And then going to Exhibit C is the NNICF-01-22, Navajo Nation Investment Committee Resolution on page 97. From there on page 99, Navajo Nation Master Investment Policy is attached. And then also from there is the Exhibit B of the clean version of the Navajo Nation Master Investment Policy. Mr. Vice Chair, thank you.
Thank you for that reading on the legislation. Budget Finance Committee members, we have the sponsor, Chair Henia, with us this afternoon. Need a motion? Call for a motion.
Delegate Yellowhair.
I'll recognize Honorable Yellowhair as the motioning party. Need a second.
This is Delegate Brown, I'll second.
We have Honorable Brown seconding the motion. Budget Finance Committee members, is there any questions? Are we ready to vote, or is there any concerns on this legislation? Not hearing any, so I'll go ahead and call for the question. Shandeen, can you go ahead and do a roll call around the horn?
Yes, Shanella, roll call vote on approving the legislation. Honorable Jamie Henyo, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Jamie Henyo votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes in favor.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes in favor. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing.
I vote
2
green.
not
Please
voting.
delegate Begay.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth Karate, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative or opposing. Chairman not voting and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
Okay, now look for the roll call vote. 4 in favor. Legislation passes to the next level. Thank you, Chair Henio, for sponsoring this legislation. At this point in time, I'll go ahead and turn the floor back over to Chair Henio. You have the gavel.
Vice Chair Smith, I have one more. 179.
Chair Henio, I'll retrieve the gavel back. Ms. Spencer, could you please read the next legislation into record? Okay.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Tracking number 0179-22. An act relating to Budget and Finance Committee approving the investment sub-policy for the Navajo Nation American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA Fund. Section 1, Authority A, the Budget and Finance Committee is a standing committee of Navajo Nation Council empowered with the authority to coordinate, oversee, and regulate the physical, financial, investment, contracting, and audit policies of the Navajo Nation. 2, NNC, Section 300C. Section 300C1 as well. The committee is authorized to coordinate and review all fiscal, financial, and investment activities of the Navajo Nation. 2, NNC Section 301B5. B, the Budget Finance Committee adopted and has subsequently amended from time to time the nation's master investment policy, which includes investment policies for all Navajo Nation fiscal resources. See resolution numbers BFO 6190, BFJY 11403, BFJA 0108, BFJN 1715, BFD 3817, and BFD 4117. The Budget Finance Committee approved the current version of the Master Investment Policy in resolution number BFD-45-18. C, the Nomination Council established the Nomination Investment Committee in resolution number CAU-39-73. The Investment Committee served as an advisory group to the Budget Finance Committee regarding the management of the Nomination's financial investments. D, pursuant to section 4.3 of the Master Investment Policy, the Investment Committee is responsible for approving and making recommendations to the Budget Finance Committee regarding amendments to the Master Investment Policy, to various sub-policies, and to asset class guidelines. Section 2, findings. A, pursuant to her duties under section 4.4 of the Master Investment Policy, the acting controller has coordinated with the Navajo Nation's investment consultant, RVK, and has recommended to the Investment Committee that approval of the investment sub-policy for the Navajo Nation American Rescue Plan Act Fund, ARPA Fund. The proposed sub-policy for the ARPA Fund is attached hereto as Exhibit A. B, the Investment Committee has reviewed the recommendations of the acting controller and RVK relating to approval of the investment sub-policy of the ARPA Fund and recommends that the Budget Finance Committee approve the sub-policy. The Investment Committee's resolution number NNICMY-03-22 is attached as Exhibit B. Section 3, approval. The Budget Finance Committee accepts the recommendations of the Controller RVK and the Investment Committee and hereby approves the investment sub-policy for the ARPA Fund as shown in Exhibit A. Section 4, effective date. This act shall become effective pursuant to 2 NNC Section 221C, Section 5, saving clause, if any provision of this act is invalidated by the Supreme Court of the Navajo Nation or by any Navajo Nation District Court without appeal to the Navajo Nation Supreme Court, the remainder of this act shall be the law of the Navajo Nation. Exhibit A is Appendix 1, Navajo Nation American Rescue Plan Act Fund. Following that is the Exhibit B, Resolution of the Navajo Nation Investment Committee, number NNICMY-03-22, and also the Appendix 1, Navajo Nation American Rescue Plan Act Fund. And this has gone through the 5-day comment to Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashima, for reading that into the record on legislation. We have the sponsor with us this morning or this afternoon. Committee members, motion.
Delegate Yellowhair, motion.
Honorable
Vice Chairman.
Yellowhair Jay's motioning. We have a second. Second for this legislation. We have the sponsor with us this afternoon.
Henyo.
We have,
Delegate
Chair
Brown,
second his legislation. I'll go ahead and recognize Chair Henyo as a second, and also motion party by Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Committee members, any questions on this legislation? I'm not hearing any, so I'll go ahead and call for the question. Shandeen, round the horn, roll call vote.
Yes, Shanella, roll call vote on approving the legislation. Honorable Jamie Henyo, how do you vote?
Honorable Green.
Thank you. Honorable Jamie Henyo votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Amber Knez-Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Knez-Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Vice Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmatives or opposing. Vice Chairman not voting and 1 member not voting. Vice Chairman?
Thank you for that, Shanetta. Legislation passes to the next level. At this point in time, Chair Henyo, are you done with your legislations?
Vice Chair Smith, thank you. I am done.
Agushi, I will respectfully turn the gavel over to you. You have the gavel at this point in time. Yeah.
Here now, Vice Chair Smith, for your assistance, and we'll move forward to item 8. That takes care of all of our new business item. Go to item 8, close the session. No written announcements that I've seen. Motion to adjourn.
Delegate Yellowhair, motion to adjourn.
Delegate Yellowhair.
Second, Delegate Brown.
Second by Shananta. Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Any last parting comments, committee members? Then we'll call for a roll call vote to adjourn at 1:57 p.m. Ramona.
Yes, Chairman, roll call vote for the adjournment. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Amber P. Begay votes green. Honorable Amber Knazbot Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Amber Knazbot Crotty, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes in favor.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes in favor. Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, chairman not voting, and 1 member not voting. Chairman?
Shikena, 4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We are officially adjourned. Budget and Finance Committee and Ados 24th Navajo Nation Council that were on the call today with us. Everybody that was on the call, especially Ramona and Miss Lori Spencer for helping us out. And Kadoya Alamo Indian Day this weekend, Friday and Saturday. If you want to see another parade, Saturday morning, thank you and have a good day.
Nito, Chairman.
Delegate your hair.